Better make sure my mic is on. That would be helpful. One would think so. Oh yeah. Here I get over to help John Marston.
Yep.
You should be good now.
Should being the operative word.
We're about to find out.
Alright, let's see if you can hear me. I'll make sure that's working, and because I'm concerned about if my headset's microphone is working properly. Hey there, Vulpecula. Okay. Alright, so yeah, we are good, loud and clear.
Yeah.
Alrighty then. There we go. Hold on! Oh, well. I was not expecting to run into you clowns.
Well.
Alright, fellas, alright. Hold on, I'm gonna need a few of my toys.
Look at this. Where does he get such nice things? That's always so much.
Alright, let's go see what's going on at the local meeting.
But, Lark, did they ever answer that question? Where does he get this from?
Embezzlement. That's where I can get you from.
Gotcha.
Fellas, what is this, the spooky ghost convention? You can't, run around as ghosts when you're still living. Here, I'll help you get into character there, bud. Have fun.
It may not be the spooky ghost convention, but I do know the spooky wizard convention.
Indeed. All right, now where was I? Oh, you had the good sense to cry and get close. All right. Who's left? All right. There we go.
Don't you feel better after doing that?
Yep, they're gonna have to save their birth of a nation for another episode. Some got on their horses. Oh, some escaped to tell the tale. Good.
That's what we want.
Let them know I come for thee. But if they want to dress as ghosts, it's only suited. I thought this rock was one of them for a second. It's only fitting that they become ghosts. Alright. So we're doing alright. Oh yeah, Tech is, I'll tell Raven when he steps back in the room, but yeah, he is quite happy that he got a deal with them. So if you have not used the discount code and you're interested, please do so.
Yes, please go use that link. It helps. This isn't like a normal sponsorship where they give me money. You've got to go to the link and sign up. That's how the money goes.
Yeah, it's basically kind of like a commission. And how about you, little buddy? What have you got on you?
So, like, for those who don't understand how it works, because I think some people misunderstood, this isn't like what Ubisoft did for me, where they paid me money to make 5 videos. No. What this is I don't see any money unless people go to the link and purchase a yearly subscription. Then I get a percentage of the money that is made from that. So, while it is awesome, don't get me wrong, the affiliation is awesome. It's not like one of the typical sponsorships you would think of. It requires action on the audience's part. So, so if you are interested in helping support the channel, go check out the link. Definitely.
Yep, every little bit helps.
Yeah. Not that I would beg.
Let's see, what do we know about this fella? Standard black Kentucky saddler. If I didn't already have a good horse right now, I'd take you. Can I just say I missed you, Raven? Oh, I'm glad to be here for you. An old bay, eh? Let's see what you got in the saddlebag. Looks like the KKK didn't have too many goods on them. after a thing like that. Need a little something to take the edge off. Alright. Hey there, Michael. John Brown approves. I'm not sure if he would, because John Brown, he was an interesting fella. I don't think he was 100% all together. Because, hold it. Can we be nice? Let's see.
Hey there, partner.
He said nothing, we'll let him live. But, hey, Lark, see what I posted for tech? Okay, hold on. Okay, give me a second. Hey, everybody. Oh, it's on top chat. That's part of the problem. Heretics, Raven laughing his butt off. Yeah, my family has no use for the KKK. What's the move like? We're going to go help John and Charles and, unfortunately, probably Sean rob a train. So we are on the move. I was playing EU3 that day, and I thought, why didn't Portugal have more direct colonies outside of Africa and Brazil? It's a good question. A couple reasons. Because they didn't quite have the means to do so. One, Spain is a larger country, and so it had more resources to its name than, say, Portugal did. Portugal did not have as much going for it, which, not to say they didn't punch well above their weight class. Yes, I did. Yes, they did. Not saying they didn't, but the question therein was, you know what, he still has fat.
Whoa.
And I can use that fat to make fire bottles, so get over here. Get me some tenderloin. But, so, here's the thing about Portugal. Remember that they divided, the Pope divided the world between the Spanish sphere of influence and the Portuguese sphere of influence. Spain got the New World. And the New World was kind of easier to conquer. Because in large part, they weren't used to European and Old World diseases.
Yep.
Meanwhile, the Portuguese realm of influence not only had a better immune system, if you will, or more well adapted, they also were dealing with more well-developed empires and stuff, because basically the Pope said you can conquer any non-Christian kingdoms in those territories. Spain, pretty much that was everywhere. Portugal, okay, Europe's off limits. Ethiopia's technically off limits. Few parts of the Middle East are technically off limits. But even then, good luck trying to take out India. Good luck trying to get into the interior of Africa. Good luck trying to conquer Japan or China or Korea or anything like that. Particularly, so honestly, trading ports were probably, for the most part, their best bet. Not to mention they also had a huge hiccup when the Spanish and Portuguese empires kind of combined briefly, and once they broke back up again, things got confused for them.
Yeah. On the question of faith isn't a feeling, how would you describe it? Faith is not a feeling. Faith is more of a decision, I would say. Faith is the choice and mentality to trust in that which you cannot rationally explain. It doesn't mean that you don't seek evidence. It doesn't mean that you don't seek answers. It means that you place your trust in something even though conventional wisdom in the world would say otherwise. So, like, I'll give you an example. This is a very old example. You go out and you go to your bedroom and you lay down on the bed. You have no evidence that the bed will not break under you. You have no evidence that termites haven't chewed through the wood. You have no evidence that the bed is not full of bed bugs. You have no evidence of any of this. You just lay down in it and get in it because you have faith that the bed is going to support you. This is not a feeling, this is just a state of mind. It is a choice you make to put your trust in the bed. If you decide you're going to check all these things first, you don't have great faith in the bed. Now, does that mean you don't test? Like, obviously, if you go to the store to buy a bed, you're going to say, all right, what's the quality of the bed? How reliable is it? You're going to check. You're going to understand this. You want to make sure you understand it to some degree before you get the bed. But once you get that bed and you put your money and time and resources into getting that bed, now you better put your faith in that bed. Otherwise, what did you put your money into? And that's the way I look at, it's a rough example and not exactly an entirely accurate one. But it's the closest one I can think of when talking about faith in God. You explore God, you explore faith, you explore Jesus, you explore Christ, you explore his message, you read the Bible, and once you make that choice, well, now you can put your faith in it. If you do, great. If you don't, well then what was all that time spent doing? And I would also add on the caveat to that, consider when it comes to your faith in God, different from a bed. Faith in God also means that you trust in what he plans to do with you even when you don't understand it. Putting faith in someone or something else like God means that you are willing to say, look, I don't understand, but I know you have the answers. It's one of those things that you got to look at, think about it like this. If I were to come to you and say, how does a plane work? It's super heavy. How can it fly? Now, an aerial navigator or a scientist could probably explain it to you in very scientific terms, but the average person isn't going to know. But they look at the plane and they say, I trust it to get me from point A to point B through the air, even though everything conventional about me looks at it and says that can't work. But sometimes you have to take a leap of faith and recognize, I don't understand how you do it, because I still don't understand how a plane gets lift. I don't understand how a plane flies, but I'm willing to put my faith in the fact that the plane will fly. And that's one way that I look at it. I do everybody with scorpions. Yeah, that's fair.
Faith, my boy. It's all about faith, because you got to have some faith.
Just join what's Raven ranting. Oh, I wasn't really ranting. I was just answering a question.
What does the Bible say about transubstantiation? Is it biblical? Well, if you're looking for the idea of the Eucharist, there's two ways to look at it. You can look, well, there's actually a wider spectrum.
Yeah.
But you can look at it as the literal, like when he says, this is my body, this is my blood. It's when you perform the Eucharist, it takes on the properties and becomes the body of Christ and the blood of Christ. Right. And there's others from typically a lower church Protestant tradition that views it as more symbolic than anything else.
Yeah. And the way I treat that as an open versus closed-handed issue, but when it comes to transubstantiation, there is no... Okay, how do I say this? There is biblical evidence and there is not biblical evidence. And here's what I mean by that. Jesus said, I am the bread of life. He who eats of me will never go hungry again. Does that mean that Jesus is literally a giant loaf of bread? Obviously not. Does it mean that as a Christian I will never be physically hungry again? Obviously not. But, hold on, time out there. What does Jesus actually mean by that? So through that, we know that Jesus was being metaphorical and he was using a symbol. He was talking about how he is like bread and you will not go hungry spiritually with him. That's what he means. But there are people out there, and the Jews at the time thought this way, because the Jews thought, hey guys, remember when Jesus fed 5,000 of us with just a few fish and bread? He's going to give us free food again. But Jesus is like, that's not what I'm about, guys. I'm not here to feed you. I'm here to be the bread. And they're like, ew, that's gross. And then they walk away. So there are people who expect that literal transubstantiation where Jesus is just like, I am your food. I will give you food. All that kind of stuff. Now back to the idea of the transubstantiation of the Eucharist. The transubstantiation of the Eucharist is the belief that when Jesus said, eat this, this is my body, remember it, do this in remembrance of me. People like to think, okay, as soon as you take that bread and eat it, it magically turns into Jesus' body. You're literally eating his flesh. And when you drink the wine, it's literally turning into blood when it enters your mouth. That's what they believe. Now, does it really matter at the end of the day? No, I don't think so. Do I believe that's what's happening? No, I don't. Because I believe what Jesus was doing when he offered the Eucharist, when he offered the communion. What he was doing was he was saying, I want you to keep in mind what's about to happen. Because at the Last Supper, Jesus was basically telling his disciples, In a little while, I'm going to be giving my body, and my blood for you. So when you eat this bread and drink this wine, you're doing it remembering what I did for you and how what I've done is going to become a part of you. That's what he means. That's the metaphor. That's the symbolism. Does that mean it literally becomes bread and wine? No, I don't think so. Now, if there are Catholics or Orthodox or people like that who do believe so, they're free to. I don't agree, but they're free to. I still recognize the importance of communion. I just don't agree that it's transubstantiation. That's my stance on that.
Yep. But good question there.
Yeah, it's a good question. It's a very good question.
Did I loot all of them? No, I need to loot more of them.
I mean, you try to condemn tattoos by invoking the Bible, but the things the Bible condemns weren't tattoos in the modern sense. Yes, when Christians try to condemn tattoos, they point to verses like where Jesus said, your body is a temple of God, you know. And they say, would you want to write things on the temple of God? Would you want to graffiti the temple of God? Here's the problem with that. What he means by that is you treat your body with respect. Your body is the temple of God, so what you wear on your body and what you present on your body matters. Do I think God has a problem with tattoos? No. Do I think God has a problem with what kind of tattoos you put on yourself? Well, let me put it this way. People are going to look at you, and if I walk up to someone and say, hi, I'm a Christian, nice to meet you, and they see a tattoo of ugly, vulgar slang on my arm, or a naked woman on my arm, or something like that, if they see that kind of tattoo, what kind of image of God are they going to see? See, that's the issue. How you represent Jesus is what matters to the Christians. That's what matters. So when Christians like to say, you can't have tattoos, it's not what the Bible says. The Bible says you need to be careful how you come across because your body is the temple of God. People are going to see God reflected in how you present yourself. So if you walk around looking like a very vulgar, ugly jerk, people aren't going to see God in you. They're going to see a very ugly version of God's temple. That's what that means.
Yep. Okay, let's see. There's one.
Also, what does the Bible say about Mary and the saints to intercede with us? Oh, Lark and I have been.
Yeah.
Do you want me to take this or you take this?
Either or.
I'll take it, sure. So, when it comes to Mary and the saints, there is not one verse in the Bible that tells us to pray to Mary and the saints. There is not one verse. None. As a matter of fact, quite the opposite. I can point to 2 verses in the book of Matthew where Jesus says the opposite. Yes, I can point to 2 verses in the Bible where Jesus says the opposite. I believe it is, well, one is in Luke. I spoke wrong when I said Matthew. One is in Luke. I think it's Luke 11, 27 through 28, if I recall correctly. A woman came to Jesus and she said, blessed is the womb that bore you and blessed is the breast that nursed you. So she was basically saying, blessed is Mary, blessed is your mother, because your mother brought you into the world. Jesus replied, blessed rather are those who hear my Father's word and obey it. Blessed rather. What that means is, here was Jesus' chance to say, you're exactly right, ma'am. You are 100% right. Bless my mother. In fact, pray to my mother. In fact, go to my mom. You want to get in with me? Go talk to my mom. She'll get you on the inside. Never said that. In fact, his chance to say it, he said the reverse. He said, no, blessed rather are those who hear my commands and obey it. In the second one, I think it was in Matthew, Jesus was teaching in a house, and a man came to Jesus and said, hey, Rabbi, your mother and brothers are here to see you. Now, we don't know why they were there to see him, but we can guess they were probably there to tell him to come home. You're drawing a lot of attention, and it's embarrassing. But Jesus said, who is my mother? Who are my brothers? I tell you, those who hear my Father's commands and obey them are my mother, my brothers, and my sisters. Again, Jesus had the opportunity to say, you're right, mom's calling me, gotta go, guys. Instead, he said, I tell you, those who hear and obey are my mother, brothers, and sisters. You want to be in the family of God? You do what God says. It has nothing to do with Mary. Now, as for the saints, my issue here is this. Why do you pray for intercession? That's my big question about praying to Mary and the saints. Why should you pray for intercession? Why do you think, because genuinely, this is my real question. Why did Jesus come to earth in the first place? What was the purpose? To get closer to his creation. God wanted to come to us. That's a big difference between every other faith in Christianity. In every other faith, we try to get to God. In Christianity, God came to us. So if God's big goal is to get to us through Jesus, why on earth would he add another roadblock? Why on earth would he have to say, hold on, whoa, you want to talk to Jesus? No, you're not good enough. You got to talk to Mary first. In fact, have you gone through this saint yet? There's a specific saint. In fact, how about this archangel? Have you talked to this archangel yet? Have you done this many Hail Marys yet? Why the middleman? Jesus didn't need a middleman to talk to us. He came to us himself. He healed us himself. He came and did all these things himself. In fact, when Jesus died on the cross, do you know what tore? The veil between the temple and the people. God was tearing down those third wheels. He was tearing down the block. He was tearing down that kind of situation. It's not about going through people to get to Jesus. It's about going straight to Jesus. So when a Catholic says, Mother Mary or this saint intercede for us, I'm like, why do you want that? First of all, what makes you think they have any authority over Jesus? He's God. What, you think God is going to go, oh, well, I wasn't going to listen to your prayer, but then Mary, Mom told me to do it. Where's that in the scripture? Where's that in anything? Now, here's the funny thing. If you bring up scripture and say this isn't scriptural, quickly Catholics like to call you a sola scriptura. Like, oh, you're sola scriptura, that's heresy. They'll never explain why it's heresy, but it's clearly heresy. Point being this. If you want to venerate or respect Mary, great. I respect Mary. I think she did a lot of cool things. I think it's great that she brought Jesus into the world. Fantastic, no doubt. I think she's great. And there are lots of saints in history who did great things. Awesome. I want to respect them. I want to honor the things they did. I want to study what they did. I want to listen to their philosophies. I don't go to them for my salvation. If you read through the Psalms of David and Solomon, David never says, I pray to you, O ancestor. I pray to you, O prophet. I pray to you, O Moses. I pray to you, O Abraham. He never prays to his ancestors or to the saints of old. He prays straight to God. He says, God, you hear me when I pray. Oh, no, sorry, I don't actually hear you, David. You got to go through this medium first. You got to go through this other dude. You got to talk to this other guy.
Wake up, you ladies.
And then the final point that I would make about that. Let's say that it's true. Let's say that it's 100% true. You've got to pray to Mary or to one of the saints to intercede for you. Okay. Then in that case, if that is true and you need to pray to Mary or the saints, what about the Old Testament prophets? Why do we honor Mary and the apostles and Paul and James and all these saints that came after? Where are we praying? We're praying to Moses. Where are we praying to Elijah? Where are we praying to David? Where are we praying to Abraham? Where are we praying to Noah? Where are we praying to Hosea? Where are we praying to Jeremiah? Where are we praying to Elisha and Elijah? Where are we praying to any of these people? They were blessed by God too. But we don't pray to them. Why not? In fact, why do we have to keep adding new things? Like, for example, I saw this recently. Someone said, Saint Michael, protect us in war. I've been seeing that a lot on X recently. And I'm like, hold on, I haven't seen Saint Michael mentioned once when God was talking about war in the Old Testament or in the New Testament. In fact, when I read the Psalms, and whenever David was talking about going to battle, he prayed to God for protection and deliverance in battle. He didn't pray to Saint Michael. Why are we going to other sources? That's my issue. So, and I know y'all didn't come here necessarily for a sermon. I know some of you are like that. Did you check Revelation? In the book of Revelation, it says that St. Michael will arrive to slay the demon or slay the dragon.
He also shows up to help out Gabriel at one point.
He comes to help out Gabriel. It does not say in Revelation, by the way, guys, if you're in war or in battle, pray to St. Michael.
Yeah.
The problem is, and this is where I think the issue is, a lot of people, Catholics, Orthodox, whatever, are applying roles to saints, archangels, Mary, and all these other things to fill in problems. And at first I think it was from a place of, kind of help. Here's where I think it all comes from. I'll tell you where I think it all comes from. Hear me out on this. I think it comes from early Christians evangelizing pagans. They went to these pagan people, and they have all these different gods and spirits and all these things. And so instead of telling them what you believe is not true, they said, hey, hold on. Just convert to Christianity, because all those gods and spirits you believe in are actually saints. And you can still pray to those saints. All you got to do is just recognize that those saints serve God. And that made it easier for the pagans to go along with it and say, okay, gotcha. So I can still pray to this God and that God and this God as long as I call them saints instead. And the Christians said, yeah, man. And so that just evolved over time into a lot of people today saying, yeah, that's why we pray to Mary. It's why we pray to St. Michael. It's why we pray to Peter. It's why we pray to James. It's why we pray to Paul. It's why we pray to Joseph. It's why we pray to all these people, because a long time ago we used a sneaky way to get pagans on our side, and we adopted it, co-authored it, and now we think it's accurate. That's what I think happened. And I think what's happening now, and I could be wrong, I hope I'm wrong, I genuinely hope I'm wrong about this, but I think a lot of Catholics who fall into this are starting to turn it into a polytheistic faith. Why do I say that? Because I've been hearing a lot of Catholics say recently, not that Jesus saved the world, but the church saved it. I saw this on X the other day. This Catholic said, Europe will be saved by the Catholic Church. I said, don't you mean Jesus? Because I think they started to worship the institution of the church and the saints and traditions therein, and not the God above the church. I saw a post just today where someone said, hey, look at this, guys, a picture of the head of the Catholic Church, and it showed the Pope. Now, technically speaking, yes, he is the mortal leader of the Catholic Church, but shouldn't Jesus be the head of the church? It's all just stuff that I think about. Now, here's the thing. Again, I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I really do. I hope that that's not the way they think. And I don't think, true statement, I don't think that all Catholics think this way. I've met Catholics who are truly saved. I really have. And I think that there are many Catholics who are saved. But I also know there are lots of Catholics, Lark and I call them I-Catholics, because they basically live on the internet and do nothing but shit on Protestants and try to build up the church as a thing. And I don't know about their salvation. Not because I don't think they don't believe in what they do, but because, Jesus said himself in Matthew, not everyone who calls me Lord will see the kingdom of God, but only those who do the will of my Father. In those days, people will come to me and I will say to them, get away from me, I never knew you. And they'll say, wait, but what about the times we did this and this and this in your name? And he says, I tell you, I never knew you, because that which you've done for the least of these, you've also done to me. And that which you've not done to the least of these, you've also not done to me. And I think in part, not entirely, but in part, he's talking about some Catholics who claim to be Christian, claim to be of the church, but they don't live like they're part of the church. They don't live like they're Christians. And do I think that this applies to only Catholics? No, I think that this applies to a lot of people. That's why it's the scariest verse in the Bible to me. It is the scariest verse in the Bible. It's one that gives me shivers even now. But I think that when in answering the question, I know I've gone on about this way too long. I'm sorry, Lark.
No, keep going.
In my opinion, and again, my opinion, don't take this as any, I'm not seminary trained yet. In my opinion, you asked about my thoughts on Mary and praying to the saints. I respect Mary. I respect the saints. I think we can learn a lot by studying what the saints did, what the apostles did, and what they said. I think there's value in understanding their role in things, and I have absolutely no problem in respecting and honoring those individuals. Where I draw the line is where we lie about them and put them on pedestals that they don't need to be on. I've heard Catholics say that Mary was sinless. There is no evidence of this. Mary's the Queen of Heaven. There's no evidence of this. It's never mentioned in the Bible. And it's actually contrary to the Bible, where God says, none rule beside me. I am the one true God there is. Mary's the Queen of Heaven, wouldn't that make her equal to God? In fact, the fact that she can intercede on our behalf and go talk to Jesus and get him to do stuff, doesn't that make her an authority over Jesus? That's not biblical. That's counter to Bible. That's counter to the Bible. So when you start giving Mary and the saints power and authority they don't have, and worse, can't provide evidence of it, because that's what I always say. I always say, where's the evidence? Where's the Bible verse? Where's the scriptural truth? Where are you getting this? They never do it. That's what gets me. That's what gets me.
I know. That's what's worrying me. These folks are rich, all right.
That's what gets me. If you think that Mary's the Queen of Heaven, we need to pray to the saints for intercession, we need to believe in the transubstantiation of the Eucharist, fine, I'll accept it, all of it. Show me the Bible verse. Show me the scripture. Show me the evidence. I will believe you when I see the evidence. But they never did. What they do is they say, you're just practicing sola scriptura. And to that I say, what's the alternative? Because if you can present an alternative, then I might be tempted to call it heretical.
Let's deal with them.
Okay, I will get off of my soapbox now. I apologize.
Yeah, well, don't feel bad. It was a good discussion there.
That was just me. Stuff. I'll let you get back.
All right.
If
So
you
now,
have any more questions for me, let me know. I'll answer them. But I feel like I've overstayed my moment.
oh no, you're always welcome here. It's your channel, after all.
Well, it's yours.
True, but on your channel. I'm feeling this is one of the scenes you don't enjoy doing, but you have to do for the mission. Yeah, I prefer Robin O'Driscoll's to normal people or people that have crossed me. I particularly like if I'm having to rob like just like innocent Joe Schmoes that's just going on their just going on their merry way. But you know, the outlaw life ain't for everybody. That's what they say. The real bad part is we got to get out of here, and I don't get to loot all of the bodies.
Look, Lark, at the end of the day, living ain't for everybody.
Oh, gosh. How are the kids, now that it's been a month? Oh!
You gotta say that to your students sometime, man. Just, look, I'll be honest, living ain't for everybody.
How to get involved with HR. Wait, yeah. The kids have been, depends on the class, some have been pretty good. I yelled at one of my class periods today because they just would not let me get through any material. They would not stop cutting up, messing with each other or anything. So I was like, all right, you don't want to learn from me? You're gonna have to learn on your own. Here's your assignment. I've modified it to make it worse because you deserve it. Because yeah, I was doing a thing on the Bill of Rights because it's a Constitution Day today. And I made it so that originally what they were going to have to do is they were going to have to rank the Bill of Rights and which ones they thought were the most important, which ones they thought were least important, and basically give a brief explanation as to why. Nothing too taxing. But since they didn't want to learn from me and they wouldn't let me go over the material, I was like, all right, you're now going to have to go into detail and explain all of the amendments, and now you have to write probably about 10 times as much as you were going to have to otherwise. So enjoy that. I'd like to write right now, farming the rod of discord is the definition of pain. Some grinds be like that. What are your thoughts on Halloween? I have fun on Halloween. Halloween's fun.
Halloween is fun. But yeah, I like Halloween.
Have you made the test where all answers are C or alternating patterns? I've done alternating patterns. I haven't done where it's all C.
Yeah, I think that's amazing.
Yeah. When I was in high school, my American history teacher made tests for the state or country. Can't remember. That was a year ago. Huh.
Enough for us to get out of here.
Was that a setup?
You good?
Law turned up real fast.
I don't know. I don't think so. I'm starting to get nervous.
Think they followed us from Blackwater?
They might have.
They found me already near
A lot of teachers are losing their jobs recently. Yeah, because they decided to run their mouth on things they don't need to run their mouths on.
Get something started there.
Good idea. Either way, we should all go it alone right now. You know the deal.
I figure Lark hunting hasn't gotten enough money for me in the Army, so I sub at a high school now. No, you don't need a degree in Texas to substitute. These kids test me at times. Yeah, that's big thing, a lot of the kids, they recognize that teachers and especially subs don't have teeth to really punish in any real significant way. And so they will just go and act crazy because, one, they're young and dumb, and two, they want to show off for their friends because, again, they are young and dumb. Okay, if you don't follow instructions, then I can make this harder for you. Literally, because the thing is just like, I come in here to teach you guys. That is my job. And I teach to make the work I give you easier so you understand it. If you don't want me to teach, well then guess what? The work's going to get harder for you.
Hey, partner. You think all this Lemoyne air is free for you?
Oh, I'm in Lemoyne now? I did not realize I was in Lemoyne.
Smart move to travel alone in these. You're done. I guess I
Not a smart move to badmouth the visitor, my friend. They're not dumb. Why do people keep calling that? Kids? I was talking about kids. They are young and dumb. They have a lack of experience and understanding of how the world works. Most of them, hopefully, will grow out of it. I mean, I was young and dumb. Now I'm just dumb. Any students have rigorous note takers? I have a few that are pretty good, because what I typically do is, like, when I put up slides, I underline or highlight the stuff that's really important that they really need to focus on. But then I will have kids that will, like, write everything down, and I'm like, you don't have to do that. And they're like, yeah, but it helps me. And I was like, yeah, sure. If you want to go do extra work to help yourself, I'm not going to stop you. That's admirable. Despite it, I'm still a year older. I still show respect for Lark instructor, though, at the end of the workday, friend second. Yeah, that's the thing. I gotta learn, like, there are people that are much younger than me that are much more knowledgeable in certain fields that I have to go, like, yep, I'm gonna listen to you on that. Because, yeah, honestly, you gotta respect knowledge and experience pretty much more than anything else. And if someone has that and they're younger than you gotta go with that. Or shot fires Flintlock without a musket ball. Now, before I was so rudely interrupted, puts Flintlock in dust. Oh, I wish I could pull out like a starter pistol and go, all right, pay attention, you morons. But, no, then they get all antsy and say, like, no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Just me, but no matter what someone's beliefs or action, you should never celebrate someone's just video games, or one thing that you should never be in real life. Yeah, that's kind of my stance, because the way I try not to get political in my classroom. The way I say it's like I talk politics from centuries or decades ago, not modern day. But I try and be neutral, but I gotta explain to the kids, like, listen, I don't care what side of the political aisle you're on. That's still a man who has a family now that is grieving his loss, and so you may not have agreed with him, but we should all be able to agree he didn't deserve to have his life taken. I'd rather use the old spanking method. Oh gosh, there is not a teacher in my school who I do not think would jump for joy at the prospect of corporal punishment becoming a thing again. It's like, alright, go to the vice principal's office, your brain has fallen in your behind, it needs to be smacked up. Oh crap, do I have a bounty? I think I have a bounty. How bad is the bounty? It's $50 in Lemoyne? 50's not too bad. Let me go ahead and go to the fence. I can sell off some stuff and then clear my bounty. It's technically a musket without a ball, just a very expensive pop gun, or am I wrong? I mean, if you want to get very technical, by that logic, any gun is technically just a very advanced pop gun that sends out a...
Arthur!
Whoops.
Oh,
What?
I'm glad I found you. Arthur! They got Bill.
Oh, gosh.
Bountyman. I found their camp nearby. They got Bill tied up. I'm gonna go take care of it. Come on.
Sloppy Bill.
Yeah.
Bill, I try and vouch for you.
All right, lead the way.
Bill, I keep trying to vouch for you, and then you go do stupid stuff. I can't...
Never return. I was
Bill
able
can
to
hunt?
find them pretty easily. Only a matter of time before they decide to pick up camp. Head for town to collect the bounty.
Guess we're in sights again.
When are we not, Arthur?
Fair point.
Right over the bed.
What'll Dutch do?
Ain't for me to say. Doubt Bill'll like it, whatever it is.
He'll give him a stern talking to and say Micah was right about something, even though he wasn't.
Know it. There they are. On foot from here.
Do not tell them who you're associated with, Bill. Hey there, Takeo. I'm not Raven. I'm Lark, his brother. If you have a message, I can pass it along. Crouch, there you go. My mom spanked me for stealing a dinosaur toy and then made me give it back when we attended the kid's birthday. I found the same dinosaur in my gift bag and never stole again. Yep. That's how my parents handle it. They refer to it as willful disobedience. Like, if you do something wrong, but the kid doesn't know any better, but the kid doesn't know, you educate them and say, hey, don't do that again, and they go. But if they do something deliberately, it's like say, hey, don't do X, and they do X, the spankings are coming.
Come on. It's time. I'll get the ropes.
You do that, I'll get the loot. Sorry, bounty hunter, your mutton chops weren't strong enough to stop me.
Thanks, Javier. I owe you for this.
No, drop. I wanted to open the chest, not
Watch out, Bill.
dagnab you, Bill. Pop guns just make noise. Gun with blanks will severely injure or kill not someone if you're right. But yes, but still, they do make it a pop, don't they? I'm just saying. Never got some information unless you make sure they will be silenced. Yep, and he probably knew they were going to die, but at the same time, it's just like, you got to be careful there, bud. Got to be careful. $1.77. Nice. Honestly, the people who call spanking child abuse are weird, like context matters. Yeah, there's a difference between, like, spanking and beating. If you beat your child for no reason, no, absolutely not. But if you're spanking your child, I mean, that's biblical. There's a verse like, spare the rod, spoil the child, spoil the rod, spare the child. Because children, particularly at a young age, need to be taught discipline, like, hey, there are actions have consequences. And, hey, like my father, when he was growing up, he was spanked because he didn't hear his mother calling. So, like, my grandmother would, like, come in and, like, call out to my father, and when he wouldn't, and he didn't hear, not because he didn't want to, he was good, he just legitimately didn't hear. She said, come here. It was like, you didn't hear me when I called. I was like, no, I didn't. Spanked him. His hearing improved. And he never did that with us, because I think he's like, that might be a bridge too far. But, I wanted to search something again, and here I am, carrying these deadbeats around. Anyway, let's loot him. Also, you grew up with good parents, I'm assuming not all of us have. Yeah, that's another thing. Because in order for the spank to do well, you need a parent that is disciplined and understands, like, you don't do this because you're angry at the child. You're doing this as an act of correction. And I have had the argument with people of where it's just like, spanking is child abuse. Like, no, it isn't. Like, my parents did not abuse me. They've cared very much for me. I'd say 99% of my problems are my own dang fault, not because my parents instilled something into me. My mom was the one that issued discipline to me and my brothers when we were younger. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. My mother was the one who primarily spanked us until we got too big, and then it was my father who did it. And then when we started getting even bigger, he carved a 2x4 into a paddle and put it on the key rack as a reminder. That thing, I don't think, came off the key rack till I was in college. He never really used it when I was in high school, but it was always there, just in case. Of course, to be honest, I never tried to give him a reason to use it at that point. And also, when you get older, once you have a degree of respect already built up, you can find more effective punishments. Like for us, it's like, hey, no more screens. That was their code for like video games or anything along those lines. No screens. We already weren't allowed to access screens if it was a school night. So only weekends and over vacations. Then we also had the issue of, then they would also say, like, hey, there are certain activities you don't need to go to. I know you're looking forward to that camping trip. You don't need to go to that if you're not going to behave and get your work done. More focus on the social mobility aspects. Shot to death by police. Ooh. Karmic. I got my lot. Is this horse still hungry? I just fed you like 2 days ago. Come on. I got shot with a Nerf gun. I got a Nerf gun, so any bad thing turns into a Nerf gun fight. I mean, it's Nerf for nothing, man. I don't know what to tell you. I tell his name was a classmate. Yeah. You don't want to drop any information on anyone, particularly on the internet. Just don't want that being traced back to you or cause any problems for anybody.
How you get out of my sight?
Hey, whoa, what did I do?
Relax.
Easy.
Another time, I guess.
Whoa, hey.
Will you move?
All right.
Will you die? You could have gone around, son. I was just trying to say hello. You decided to be kooky about it. I gave you plenty of chances. But the platinum pocket watch makes up for your rudeness, I will admit. Probably some rich guy. You didn't look too rich. See, that guy was polite. He saw that I had blood on my hands and decided not to say anything until I was out of sight. That's okay, I'm going to go pay off my bounty anyway. So if I work with horses, if you're not careful, they will eat themselves to death. It's kind of that natural inclination. Even we as humans, like, have that desire, just like, oh man, we gotta eat. But like, it's like, are you sure? You didn't eat too long. You don't need to eat like if you look at me, it's like I could stand to stop eating a bit, if you know what I'm talking about. And but like the body still does not like the idea of losing weight because it's still in thinking like survival mode. Like, no, this is energy. We need to keep as much energy as possible because it increases our chance for survival. Because it still thinks I'm hunting down mammoths. I wish you had the same confidence in me. I wish I had the same confidence in myself that my body does. Although we got ourselves a posse. I think those are our bounty hunters looking for me. I hope you find them, my guys. Oh, it's cute. They think they found me. Yep. All right. I was raised by my foster parents. While I hated them from the moment, I love them now. My actual parents abandoned me when I was 10. I'm nearly 20 now, and I'm starting to talk to my mom again. Wasn't it more like indentured servitude? Wait, what are you talking about there, Michael? I feel like I'm missing some context. Let me check Bruce. Anything's changed hard. The Tempest. Early colonial period. Oh, you're talking about the indentured servitude in the colonies? Calling it slavery with extra steps is a little interesting because basically it was typically a way to pay off a debt of some kind. So you got to understand, in the early colonial period, particularly for the southern colonies, they practiced something called the headright system, meaning that if you pay, the more people you paid to have come over from England or wherever to the colonies, you would get more land out of the deal. And particularly if you're trying to set up plantations, you want more land, more cash crops, more money. So indentured servants was a clever way to get labor. So you would have, in Europe, typically England, like you'd have debtors, and they would be thrown in debtors' prison because they couldn't pay off their debts for one reason or another. And so they would say, like, okay, listen, we could continue to have you rot in debtors' prison, doing nobody any good, or you could become an indentured servant for a guy in, say, Virginia or the Carolina colony, and they will pay for your passage, but you got to work for them for X number of years. They come over, they work for those number of years, and then they are free to go. Their debt is cleared. And sometimes people that didn't have debts would just become an indentured servant just because they wanted a new life somewhere. And we have a puppy that needs to be pat. But yeah, and so the difference between that as indentured servant is like there was an expectation that you would eventually be freed. However, indentured servitude fell out of favor after Bacon's rebellion in Virginia. So yeah, about 100 years before the American Revolution, there was this guy, I forget his first name, but his name was Bacon, and he was a former indentured servant. Now, well, the problem was that this former indentured servant was was like, well, I'm done. I need to go try and find some land so he can set up my own farm, because that was typically what most freed indentured servants wanted to do. However, they didn't have any more land controlled by the Virginia colony. And so he went to the colonial governor and said, okay, here's what we should do. We got a lot of indentured servants. They need land. We should go to war with the Indians to try and get that land so we can have some farmland. And the colonial governor was like, no, I'm not proctoring a war just to help you out. And he goes, I wasn't asking. So he leads this revolt, takes over the Virginia colony for 2 years until it gets cracked down. But in that time, he fights off all the Indians, and well, not all of them, but the ones in the area, and he manages to get the land. Now, England comes back, cracks down on the rebellion. Once they crack down on the rebellion, they're like, well, we're going to keep the land, obviously, but the indentured servitude issue is an issue. We can't keep doing that because too many indentured servants that are now freed running around and have nowhere to go can lead to problems. So what do? They start looking to other systems of labor where there isn't a guarantee of eventual freedom, and also sets away a sort of a permanent underclass to make those above them feel a little bit better about themselves. And that's when they started to wholesale switch into West African slavery. Human biology makes no sense if you think about it. Like, oh, hey, we're going to a state of hunger. Let's consume some muscle instead of fat reserves made for this exact situation. I gotta love the human body. Lark, you remind me of this one teacher I had when I was a sophomore year of high school. Very engaging and really laid down the law. Well, I'm not the best at discipline. I wish I was better. I lose my cool more times than I would care to admit. But I do like to think that I try and engage with the best of them. No, give me my game. Thank you. Gotta stay fit as a fiddle. Nathaniel. I mean, his name is Bacon. Nathaniel Bacon. Is that who it was? A lot of indentured servants were people in Britain that Britain really wanted to get rid of. There's a reason why they had penal colonies. Like, this is apologies to anyone from Georgia, but I like to joke because I teach South Carolina history. Georgia was only allowed to exist because James Oglethorpe really begged the king, hey, can we have this? And he said, like, I want a colony of like artisans and other stuff like that with no slavery. And he goes, fine, I'll let you have it, but you have to make it a penal colony. And he's like, not a problem. And you have to settle between Charlestown and Spanish Florida. Why? Because I'm sending the undesirables your way. You are going to be a meat shield for the Spanish in case they get uppity. So literally, Georgia's sole purpose for existing originally was to be a meat shield for South Carolina. And so anytime someone from Georgia gives me crap or whatever, I go like, settle down, meat shield. Go block a Floridian for me, why don't you? Now, of course, things have changed since then, because you look at Georgia's GDP versus ours, they're doing quite well for themselves. But it's one of those funny situations. Fortunately, most apart, I have to study for a chemistry exam next week. Wish me luck. Good luck there, Tech. Hope you're able to do well. If I had a nickel for every time a guy named Bacon did something stupid, I'd have 2 nickels. Which isn't a lot, but still, it's weird that it happened twice. I love this game. It makes me sad sometimes when Valentine's roaming to Granddaddy's old ranch, and I miss those days. Jess was a good horse. I miss him. Yeah, a lot of stuff go rocking around here. Makes you nostalgic for things not everybody always got to experience. How you doing, bud?
Howdy. Oh, do you have the time there? I don't know, sorry. Okay, thanks anyway. Take care now.
See, polite. He was polite. This is why he gets to live. Now, what else is on the menu today? Chemistry's oh yeah. Out of all the science classes I ever took in high school, chemistry was probably my least favorite. Honors chemistry, that was a pain. Because I remember, like, I got knocked down from an A to a B because I didn't capitalize, because I capitalized something that wasn't supposed to be capitalized on a chemical symbol, and I was like, really? That was worth taking a whole, 10 points off for that one mistake? But, you know, some teachers going to grade a little bit differently than others. All right, and, oh, hold on. We have someone over here. I think it's the guy that wants picture help. Any other fun stuff? I made it all the way down to Rhodes, dadgum. I think I'm about to go fishing with Jack. Anyway, I better start heading back there. I'll see if I can pick up something for the pod on the way, because I got some stuff to buy for the camp. But yeah, I got like $900. I should be able to... during this time period, I should be able to buy myself a nice ranch. And, well, most of the supplies I would need to run it. I just need to get the others to, you know, get their act together. I mean, the Spanish still had alligators to deal with. Spanish had a lot of problems to deal with. Did you ever hear about the latest Florida man antic? No, but please share. Robbing Disney with scuba gear. Oh, Florida. Don't ever change. Welcome to hell, dirtbag. See you never, Australians. Well, that's part of the reason why Australia got so big, because when 13 colonies rebelled, Australia was no longer an option for a penal colony, and so they had to redirect a lot of it to another established penal colony, Australia. I know you were, Michael, but you know, we got to play into that. But what's actually kind of funny is, since I teach South Carolina history, one of the interesting things is one of the first real permanent settlements in what is now North America, or rather now the United States of America, was a place called Santa Elena or St. Helena, which is in modern day Beaufort County, because the Spanish and French both tried on 2 occasions to try and settle in the region that was Carolina. First, San Miguel de Guadalupe. Sure you are, bud. But yeah, San Miguel de Guadalupe, which failed, and then Charles Fort on Paris Island, which failed because, you know, poor planning and cannibalism. Story for another time. But then in the same place, the Spanish came back and they set up Santa Elena, and they were there for 21 years, had a successful colony, very much thriving. However, then the English came down and they burned St. Augustine. The Spanish panicked, thinking that they had overextended into their territory, wanted to bring things back closer to their capital in Havana. So they went up, found the boys at Santa Elena, and said, all right, pack up everything, we're moving you to St. Augustine. Didn't they just burn that? Yeah, you're rebuilding it. But it's just one of those things, like, if the British hadn't sacked St. Augustine, you could potentially see sort of like a Miami in South Carolina, or like a Jacksonville or something like equivalent. Interesting to think about. Wait, how did they lose a gorilla? Who lost a gorilla? I gotta come back to the camp with Mexico's GDP. We can literally buy a state. We just need more money. It's like, Dutch, I'm beginning to think this ain't about the money. It's a freaking 1-star. 2-star, actually. If it was an orangutan, it would make sense. Well, all the money that the gang gets, if the money John got is anything to go by, the gang would have enough money to buy a stall speed worldwide. And yeah, forest people are natural escape artists. Well, I actually did the math, because if you watch my... it's me. But if you ever watch my Vanderlyn Lamentations, one of the things I point out is that I actually looked in, like, 1870s records, like farming land out in Texas, what it cost per acreage and all that. I think it was like $12 to $15 an acre. And so I crunched the numbers, and I found it's like, with all the money you acquire in game, excluding what you would have gotten at Blackwater and other stuff, the gang could have bought a huge ton of acreage of land out west like a decade ago, but you know, that wasn't important to. Hold on, we got something going on over here. How you doing? You'd think Australia would be less authoritarian given they were a penal colony. Yeah, but the thing is, one thing about Australia is, they never really had, the rebellious. Sure, they're a little more rough and tumbly, but honestly, the best way to look at Australia is sort of like the Texas or Florida of the British Commonwealth.
What you preparing for? Greatest of gifts. Unguarded stagecoach. No, you simple-minded fool.
Hey, I resemble that remark.
Bison? Bison. How much you can get in?
We can't buy a son. That's not how this works. I love how Dutch keeps quoting this one author, using his words to justify stuff, and then you meet Arthur later on, and he's like, "Are you high?" But that's not what that means at all. Dutch, we need more money. Honey, we have enough money to buy Greenland and Iceland, and maybe even Denmark itself. But yeah, let's go hunt some buffalo, because we're the buffalo roam.
You know, it was before my time, of course, but my mother used to tell me stories of how her tribe moved with the bison.
Yep.
They lived almost as one. The bison went, my people went.
Because there used to be a whole heck of a lot of bison across North America.
Provided us with everything. Food, clothing, shelter, tools.
Yep.
There was a lot of respect.
And good eating.
I don't remember much of my childhood, but I think my people pretty much moved with the whiskey.
Well, my father did that too.
Yeah, I enjoy bison myself, but I think I prefer elk more. But what's really interesting is another thing that that isn't talked about, and that's because it's kind of gross. But buffalo chips, or buffalo scat, if you will, was also a
You see them all?
ooh
Incredible, aren't they?
was also a popular thing when moving across the Great Plains, because since there's not a lot of trees in the Great Plains, buffalo chips could act as fuel for a fire. Gotta bring down Juan Bison. I don't think I have improved arrows, so I'm gonna have to use Robert Redford in The Last Cowboy, correct? Yep. A white buffalo. We gotta find a good one there. Oh, I don't want to shoot Charles. Got it.
All right. Skin and butcher. Take the horns too. Can all be used.
And these carrots can be used to feed me and my horse. Alright. Let's skin this buffalo. I know technically it's a bison, but still. But you are a big cuss. I remember going out to like Wyoming and seeing like bison in person for the first time. Those herds are wild because they will just pick up and just go at the drop of a hat. I was with a group of like a large group of like, because I was a teenager at the time with a bunch of other teens, and so we stopped at this like rest area, and then we started to move, and then like there was just bison just chilling outside, and so we just like don't agitate them, don't go near them, whatever. And so then suddenly the leader of the herd was just like, time to go, and just they all turned and then went, and they almost took out this one girl in our group. She was mortified because she was just like half a foot away from putting on a milk carton. It was wild. Would you rather watch Velma or the sequel trilogy? Oh gosh, that's, you know, I think I'd have to say the sequel trilogy, because at least the first one I can play riff tracks to, and I can at least, you know, riff it, and at least there's certain things that are at least visually appealing about the sequel trilogy, because some of the cinematography is okay, but Velma I don't think has any redeeming qualities. Yeah, at least the sequel trilogy had potential. You know, like, I love a fan remake of where Finn was the protagonist. I mean, yeah, because the idea that you had a stormtrooper who was force sensitive that somehow got missed, and then he slowly starts to learn and fall, like, that would have been very interesting. And I would have been okay with the idea that you were following two force sensitive protagonists, and they sort of become the new dynamic duo, sort of like, you know, Obi-Wan and Anakin were. Like, that, you could work with that.
There's a camp there.
Define fresh.
Take a look.
Like choosing between the Spanish flu and the Black Plague. I mean, today I'm going to pick the Black Plague because we have antibiotics to treat it. Moonshine, drunkards. I knew it. I think everyone likes Scrappy a lot more because of Velma. Yeah, if you're making Scrappy look good, you have crossed a line. At least Disney gave us the Darth Vader scene in Rogue One. Yeah, granted. Yeah, it's just one of those things where it's just like, if Disney just handed the reins off to competent people, they could be rolling in money. But no, they gave it to people that were only interested in trying to either just nostalgia bait or just try and insert their own self-inserts to try and do whatever. I mean, anyone can use a lightsaber, but it takes training to master. That is true. And really, a lightsaber is most effective in a force-sensitive person, since they can use sort of like force, I forget the term for it, but force sense, force precognition, to help them block blaster bolts and stuff.
You see anything? See some smoke to the east. Maybe
Yeah.
another camp.
The High Republic was trash.
Right.
Yep. I love my dad. I'm glad you do. It's always good to have a healthy respect between a child and his father. Or any parent, really. One thing I don't like about Rogue One is they decanonized Kyle Katarn. There's a lot of things that got decanonized I was not happy about. And I know they're slowly like bringing certain stuff back. I was like, but why? Why would you take things from me? Force user with buckshot. Everybody loves a force user with buckshot.
It has to be them. Come on, wait up.
They're still fresh. Quick, we can save the meat for barbecue. Letting Hollywood's elite use Star Wars as a sandbox. I'm even sure I can get on the... It depends on how you classify as elite, because I know the shareholders weren't paying attention.
Did you fools shoot those bison? What's your problem? I said, did you fools shoot those bison?
Answer the question.
Red bastard, whatever the fuck you are.
Hey, that's not nice.
Did you shoot them? Yes, we did. We shot them bison. We'll shoot you too if you don't get. What business is it of yours? What? We... It's not business of mine! Good God, you're crazy! I got a family. A family. Don't shoot me.
Stand back, Charles. I'll get you some answers.
Who has the best Cincinnati chili recipe? Tell me!
What are you doing?
I'm punching you.
Killing those bison and leaving
Or
them to
pimp
rot.
slapping you.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Damn it, tell us.
I don't think you rock the haircut as well as you think you do.
Oh, okay. We were paid to kill as many as we could and make it look like it was Indians. Just kill them, Arthur.
Who would think that...
Please, don't kill.
I've heard enough.
I know that's more for your haircut than anything else, but still. If they changed Rey's backstory from her parents ditching her to a Jedi Master ditching her, it might have been acceptable a little easier. Would have been great, but a little bit better than this.
Okay.
Yeah, it's...
Their camp. I'll catch up with you later.
I've heard that theory, and I agree that would have been... Wait, what am I doing? I should have been looting the camp. But there's so many ways they could have just, fixed that. What are you doing? Just... There we go. I mean, even give Dumb and Dumber of Defang Torch, they torch their own show to hop on Star Wars, only for Disney to go, ew, brother, ew, brother, I forget who did that. Poison knife throwing pamphlet, alright. No, don't pick him up, do not pick him up. Thank you. I just wanted to loot his corpse. Also, J.J. Abrams is throwing a hissy fit and changing the story because people guessed correctly that Rey was going to be Luke's son. She had to doll all of him in his X-Wing outfit. Oh my gosh, that's why! That's the problem. They didn't like when you're going to be that predictable. What are you going to do? It's always like, yeah, because making him Luke or Obi-Wan's kid was so much worse than having her be a freaking Palpatine. Gosh, it just ruins so much. That's why it's like so many. It's like, yeah, we don't count. And another thing goes, like, people's like, well, the prequels were also bad. It's like, one, they were nowhere near as bad. Like, there are some people that will look at them and go, I don't like them. But most people can look at the prequels, even if they love them and have some good poking fun about them. But at least there's something memorable to go to. They expanded the Star Wars lore and mythos. These sequels just killed it. Because everyone loves going back and looking at the Clone Wars and stuff around that. But does anybody really enjoy going back who wants to look forward at what happened during the sequel series? No. It was more interesting. What the books that were written after the fact of the original trilogy, like your Timothy Zane's Thrawn, the Uzong Vong, like all of that stuff. Luke rebuilding the Jedi, but no, we couldn't have that. What was that? Is there a snake? A snake? It disappeared. Hello there, Sam. Popular theory was that Rey was going to be Obi-Wan's granddaughter before it was revealed that she was a Palpatine. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they kind of gave up. Because somehow Palpatine returned and just... I'm doing okay. I can watch the OT, but I can't watch the ST anymore, given Mark Hamill's TDS. Yeah, I get that. Rian Johnson himself openly debunked Kennedy and said that there was no plan. Yep. Because I don't know what possessed them to think, yes, this is a good idea. Because Rian Johnson never should have been brought on because he didn't have an appreciation for Star Wars. He didn't care about Star Wars. He just wanted to tell his own style of movie and thing. And like the introduction of Rose Tico, that character that went absolutely nowhere and delivered some of the dumbest line in Semina. Just like that's not how we're going to win this war. Not by destroying what we hate, by saving what we love. Proceeds to see the First Order win by destroying what they hate, leaving what is left of the Resistance to die until Mare Su comes in and saves them all. Yeah, that's the problem. Me and Raven, we went to go see The Last Jedi in theaters because I heard rumors like, it could be pretty bad. I was like, no, come on, it can't be that bad. I said that about Force Awakens. I thought it was okay back then until I started to realize how bad it could get. But then, lo and behold, it just kept, we sat in that theater and it just kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse. There were several times Raven leaned over and was like, are they done yet? Can we go? But no, we sat through the whole thing, and we did not say a word until we walked outside, and then we just turned to each other, and we just both started ranting. We were livid.
I apologize in advance for this.
A perfect bison pelt? I know who that's getting donated to. Keep your forked tongue between your teeth. I tell you, I don't like that, Micah. He's up to something. Lark finally says on the worst in the Star Wars Christmas special. Yeah, that was weird, but at least they had the good decency to never air that again. The original Mary Sue was more droll because she herself was a satire. Yeah, that's the thing. She was making fun of it, and some people looked at that and went, yeah, that's a blueprint on how to write a character. Sad thing, but the thing is that used to just be stuck into fan fiction, but then you had people that decided, no, that's good enough for the real thing. And that's how we got the sequel trilogy. That's how we got The Acolyte. Just so much wrong. So much wrong. Well, she can't be a Skywalker. Rey isn't blood related to them. Yep. Just so much, yeah. It's just so wrong. But they did actually, at least in Lego form, they actually remade it in Lego form. It's pretty good and marketable improvement from the original. What? Dark Empire is what wishes it could be. Fair enough. How bad was The Acolyte? I never saw it. Lesbian space witches. That's all I need to go. There were some good fight scenes. And I'm not gonna lie about that, but the overall plot was just dumb. I didn't even watch the full thing. I didn't have the stomach for it, but I got a buddy, he loves Star Wars more than just about any other franchise. He and his wife both do. And he watched the whole thing, and he said, there's certain things they got really, really well, but the overall plot was unsalvageable. Because basically, again, lesbian space witches who can impregnate themselves by using the will of the Force, which really kind of water downs the impressive fact that Anakin was basically born of the Force. Because now if everyone can do it, it ain't special anymore. Fight scenes were the only saving grace. It's yeah, that's pretty much every report I heard. Even Angry Joe was mocking it. Was he? Want to see me pissed off a whole franchise? The power of one. The power of two. The power of many. It's did you... I think they need a law now at Lucasfilms and every other studio. They need to, before they greenlight a script, they need to just bring an average Joe from, somewhere that is not Los Angeles or New York or Chicago. Like, just run out of some random dude in Texas, just sitting out fishing on a lake or something, and say, does this at least make coherent sense to you? Or something. There's plenty of people. Maybe you could run it by, like, a mauler or someone of that nature that just that's like, okay, let me tell you why this seems stupid. So, yes, Dylan, you would be perfect. It's like, you gotta go back, like, because if you can get enough people to look at it and go, like, enough normal people that are not a part of the Hollywood hive mind to go, this makes some sense, you can go ahead, you have our blessing to make this. Because in their delusions of grandeur, they think, well, if they don't understand it, that means we need to preach to them, or, this wasn't made for you. And then we go, okay, well, if it wasn't made for me, I'm not watching it. And they go, no, wait, please, we need you. Too late. Oh, sorry, fellas. I am, but that's not relevant to the conversation right now. Whenever I think of the Acolyte, one of the first things that pops in my mind is the scene of Pelagius looking out in the cave like an animal. Ugh. Get Sam Witwer. Actually, there you go. That's the litmus test. You need someone like Sam Witwer or Henry Cavill, guys that are uber nerds, but still very respectable in terms of acting, that they should be able, like, does this make sense for the lore? Like, that was the big problem. Think about it. That was the big problem, like The Witcher. They kept trying to go against what the books did and what Henry Cavill wanted, because Henry Cavill was like, hey, let's use this from the books. Hey, you want that guy that is going to go, hey, this is what people love. This is what I love. Why don't we do it like this and give the people what they want instead of, but they're like, oh, no, we know better than you. But do they know better? No, they don't. White feather, turkey feather, you can have a few of those. Cavill sticks to the source material for sure, which is why he isn't doing the next season. Yeah. Wait, are they still trying to crank out Witcher? I thought that project already crashed and burned because Netflix is full of morons. Give me a second, fellas. Having to get myself a drink. Gotta find something to wash the trail dust off my gullet. Apparently during this, we're getting Cavill-led warhammering. Apparently set during the scouring. Interesting. I was really hoping he would play Caiaphas Cain.
I know the Wapiti on the reservation up in the Grizzlies. I lived with them for a few months. Old Rainsfall was always talking about this giant wolf eagle. Not sacred or anything.
Rainfall, we'll see that, man. Hunter. Thoughts on Poor Man's Poison? I only know one of their songs. And gosh, it's like their most popular one. I can't remember the name. Like Hell's Coming With Me or something like that. But I like that one. That was pretty good.
Good doing business with you.
Isn't Splinter Cell getting an animation? I'm scared. Apparently, was like, yeah, but at this point, is anyone still waiting on it? Because like all of the goodwill that you would have had developed for that is kind of gone now. Any goodwill you had, you destroyed. Because if Henry Cavill, the patron saint of nerddom, says, no, I'm leaving the project because they wanted to break away from the source material too much, then I don't care who you get to replace him, I ain't watching. I already had when I was watching the first season, I was irritated by the number of, DEI hires they got, because I'm like, this is supposed to be like a medieval Poland. Why are so many people look like they don't belong in medieval Poland? I hear Bioshock is getting a movie. I hope that's not true. It's kind of a sad thing, isn't it? Like, because when we were kids, like, man, a franchise is so cool. I hope it gets a movie adaptation or something like that. Now, as adults, we're like, dear Lord, please don't touch my beloved franchise. It's like just like when I heard Halo got it's like, yeah, we got the. And I was like, yeah, we decided to make a Halo TV show, and I'm like, who's running it? It's like people that never played the games. Oh, joy and happy day. Did they at least read the book? No? Okay. I'm part of police pissed off what they did to the Alien franchise. The Alien franchise, as much as I liked Romulus, because I did think that was an okay movie, I think it needed to stop after 2. 1 was good, 2 was great, 3 didn't need to happen, Resurrection was a thing, and yeah, and Alien Earth just doesn't appeal to me at all, because part of the scary part of the Alien is that you're in a space station or a spaceship, and that you're in an like alien isolation hat, get it? But you're in an isolated area with them where you can't call for help. If you are on a planet, particularly a highly populated one, the aliens suddenly stop being so scary because, well, if you can shoot them regularly now, not have to worry about acid decompressing the whole area, you can just wholesale open fire and be done with it. But no, we're supposed to expect that they're somehow going to take over. That was my issue with Kingdom Come Deliverance, as people complained there were no black people in the first. Yeah, I remember when they complained about that, and I'm just like, no, but there wouldn't have been. And so they decided to add a little bit of DEI stuff and other things here, and like, I was going to go back and eventually play through the first game, because the first time I tried to play it, my Xbox wasn't like displaying the screen properly, and the combat was kind of rough. So like, I'll come back to it later. When I heard they were doing the second one, like, well, that kills any desire for me to go back. Honestly, most of the 80s horror movies have run their course at this point. We don't need Halloween 14 or Friday the 13th. So, honestly, what's kind of sad is like Halloween, they originally meant to be an anthology, which is what Halloween 3 had nothing to do with Mike Myers, because the second one wasn't supposed to do it. It's just the first one was so popular, like, oh, well, we'll just keep doing that. If they had just kept the Halloween series going as, like, you know, each one a different story, then I think that they could have had something good going on there. But they decided to keep doing what was popular, and enough people apparently liked it, but good luck keeping track of all the Halloween movies. Did some math. Your 938 would be worth 36 grand today. Dang! I gotta stow this little nest egg. Bill, are you okay, buddy? Buddy, what's going on? Especially when you consider how Molly wouldn't even have really gotten that far, especially considering disease, and not to mention Bohemia is literally in the middle of Europe, far away from Africa. Yeah, it's like Molly wasn't really tapped into much of the European trade network. They were tapped into more of the Arabic trade network, so them just popping up in it's kind of like in Assassin's Creed Valhalla when you have this Chinese trader in the middle of backwater England. It's like, I'm sorry, why would the Chinese care about trading in England? England of, you know, the Iron Age, if you will, not the Iron Age, but the Iron Century, like in the 10th century, really isn't, there's not much there of that would be of value to the Chinese that they would go, yeah, we should try and set up a trade post. Definitely somewhere like Constantinople, or maybe, you know, your Venice, Rome, potentially. But England? Are you high? It's just, ugh. Would you recommend the Nosferatu remake? I enjoyed it. I thought Michael Skarsgård did a great job as Count Orlok. I may not be pronouncing that correctly. But I think that... let's go ahead and sleep till morning. But I think there were a few scenes in the movie that just... I was kind of like, yes, but why did I need to see that? Like, I got to see the little Count. I didn't need to see the little Count. I got to see the main character suddenly start having a possession fit and then start going crazy on her husband. I didn't need to see that. It's just, aside from those, like, weird what the frick scenes, the movie was great, particularly the first part, like, building up, like, the gothic tension and terror of going through Transylvania and then getting to the Count's castle, I thought was great. And even towards the end, it was all right. I thought the ending was kind of weird, but, you know, it is that which it is.
Good morning, Arthur.
Morning.
So, we did pretty well out of that train job. The law showed up real fast.
Too fast?
Sure seemed that way to me. But anyway, we made it out. Well, I should get back to it.
I know you won't come up with a plan there, Dutch. So you're telling me some guy managed to make it through Muslim-controlled territory without conversion and made it to Christian Europe with no problems? If he's from Mali, he probably was Muslim. I can't see them visiting England and then all. Yeah, because that's another thing. The Chinese typically did not travel along the Silk Road. It was typically a network of intermediaries that went out throughout the Silk Road. Wasn't there a monster Dracula movie that takes place in the Demeter ship? Anyone here watch it? Voyage of the Dawn Treader and... not Voyage, that's a C.S. Lewis book. I forget the name of it. The last, the last thing of the Demeter, like the last show of the Demeter. And yeah, it apparently was not good because it was just... It had the wrong priorities and it changed. Like, it was an interesting concept, but it just... Again, priorities were in the right place. I especially thought medieval Spain is an achievement considering what the Moors were doing at the time. Yep. Last Voyage of the Demeter. Yeah. I was thinking of the Voyage of the Dawn Treader from, like, the C.S. Lewis book. That's a different movie. Gonna dump a couple more bucks in there. No. I think 20 is, like, the max amount of, Alright, so I've donated a good bit. Let's see what we can get in the ledger. Oh, nope. I still think what they did, Netflix did to DMC. Oh, absolutely. Just completely missing the point because we have to support the message. Alright, let's see what other people are donating. Karen donated $5. Sadie donated 92 cents. I didn't know she was donating. John donating $4. You made more than $4 on that last heist, John. Tilly gave us a cover scent lotion worth 60 cents. Susan dropped off a bat. Where did you get a bat wing, Susan? Arthur, gold pocket. Yeah, that's me. See, no, there's a difference between who's donating what here. You'll notice that John, a poor boar pelt. Okay. Strauss, another bat wing. Was there just one bat wing? Susan and Strauss split? What happened here? Bill, a poor armadillo skin, and Arthur, a poor... okay, I donated a poor bell dog. Like, what is this? How come I'm the only one donating anything? Okay, I'm going to give Karen this. She donated like $5. That's a decent amount. But nobody else is donating anything. Children at church movies showing scare. Oh, dear. I never saw any media that portrayed demons in a positive light. Well, all you gotta do is watch. There's several that try and do it now. Like, Has Been Hotel somewhat tries to do it. Dutch wants something comfier. I bet he does. Hope you like it, Dutch. Hope you won't betray me later, Dutch. Arthur wants maps to help plan his journeys. This is all coming out of my pocket, but since it's all going to me, I'm not as upset. But it's also an opportunity to make more money. What's yours and favorite adaptation of Dracula? That's most portray them as unapologetically evil. Demons, not as much in modern day anymore. Now it's far, far less. So, like, if anything, I see more portrayals of demons as being, like, the last time I saw a demon portrayed as absolutely evil was watching the Christian horror movie, if you can believe it, Nefarious, which I thought, say what you will about the quality of the movie, the guy who played Nefarious did a dang good job. But yeah, by the way, you're welcome, guys. You're welcome. I paid a lot of this out of my own money. I don't want to hear crap from any of you. Ever. But my favorite portrayal of Dracula, Bela Lugosi's kind of memorable, but I oddly enough, I remember, like, the Batman versus Dracula. I thought that was fun. I think probably, like, the book is probably in and of itself the best adaptation I've seen. I think just listening to the audio, like I listened to it in audio form, I think doing that was pretty dang good. Because I think it encapsulates it really well. I think Bela Lugosi is almost too handsome for the job. Let's change some clothing real quick. Let's get a different look going on. Let's change up the coat. Bullfrog, Montana shotgun jacket. Not bad, but not great. Gunslinger, classic buckskin, no coat. We'll save that for later. Could have sworn. What happened to my, had another duster. Here we are. There we are. Gotta wear my duster. Hats. Nah. Vests. Go a little fancy there. We can do that. Every day. Gotta make him look nice and fancy. And chaps, we'll take the chaps off for now. I was happy to get them, but now we can rock them a little bit differently. Work pants. Yeah, I'll keep the jeans. Fancy feller I am. And now we gotta look dapper. Lark, if you were going to play a Dragonborn in Baldur's Gate 3, what sub-race would you pick and why? Well, that's the thing. Sub-race... Lore-wise, I'd probably want to go metallic, because I like it playing the good guy. Gold for fire breath would be fun. Silver for some lightning. Probably either of those. The demons being nice can be genuinely good if you lean to the idea that the fallen angel desperately seeking atonement in his forgiveness, but that's not how media writes it. Shame. Or, even better, like you have a demon that's being really nice and anything as it's sort of a trick to lure you in and pull you in. I would actually very much respect that if they were doing like they were just going for like, I'm just misunderstood, and then as soon as they got him, pull the rug out from under him. I would like to see that. But, regrettably, they don't do that. Just a quick trim. Nothing too crazy. We're going to get Arthur's tent looking Dutch at the end of the game. We better. Oh, hey there, Charles.
Good, Charles? Yeah. Already wishing me left Sean hanging from that tree.
Preach.
I know what you mean.
Like the one vampire from Supernatural? Yeah. Because that's kind of like if I was to write a vampire story, that is kind of how I would do it. I even have it in my head. I was like, because considering like all the stuff like Twilight, like all the attention that got in subsequent stories based off of that, like even in anime you see stuff about like, oh gosh, the poor misunderstood bad, devourer of human souls.
You saved Mr. Bell from a hanging?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Well, I suppose he'd do the same for you.
Probably.
We're all in this together, Mr. Morgan. I know you know that.
Do not break out into song there, Miss Grimshaw. Thank you. Uncle, why are you still breathing the free air?
Wait. Sorry. It's too tempting.
Quit with the ruckus. I'm tired.
Wake up!
Hey, Arthur. Come here a minute.
What is?
Just a minute. But yeah. Because if I was to write a vampire story, I would basically... One, I would try and probably have it set about this time period, if not a little bit later. But you have this drifter that comes into town, woos a lady, gets her, like, feeling all sympathetic for him. He pulls the perfect, like, pretty bad boy act. Then pulls her aside, and then sinks the fangs into her, gets interrupted, and then she has to realize that everything that she believed in this guy was a total lie. But now she's contracted vampirism, and she has to figure out how to deal with the fact that now she is suffering from this hunger, and she doesn't know what to do with it. And, I'll save some more of that idea for a little bit later. Is Macbeth truly a cursed play? If you talk to theater majors, they refuse to say anything other than the Scottish play. There's a great joke about it in Black Adder, I think season 3, where he just toys with people. And the thing is, you're supposed to, like, you can only say Macbeth, like, if you are like actually like in the theater doing the play Macbeth. Otherwise, it's like bad luck. So, yeah. Favorite Shakespeare play? Probably either Titus Andronicus or, let's see. I like Julius Caesar when my college isn't ruining it.
What you up to?
Hmm.
I guess.
Romeo and Juliet's overrated. Not bad, overrated.
Sure.
What You Do About Nothing is fun.
It's about time.
Twelfth Night is entertaining.
Your cape.
Okay.
Good. Let's go get
Yeah, I think I'm probably going to go with those.
fishing pole, don't
Titus Andronicus has a special place for me because I took a speech class in a college, and we had to do a Shakespearean speech. And I did the revenge monologue from Titus Andronicus. Don't ask me to do it, though, because I cannot remember it. It's been 8 years since I did that. I really want to read Othello. Yeah, Othello's a good one. The gang's tent dismemberment is a little whack when you think about it. Hosea is older, sick, second in command, and Arthur is the muscle. Both have glorified lean-to sleep unders. Better than what some of the others have.
Oh, okay.
Feeling better? No, you was
Merchant of Venice is great. I haven't done as much with that one.
you're a brave kid.
So,
The way extra credits to make it sound like soured my stance on Romeo and Juliet and Othello. Well, extra credits can sour the stance just because they have to add their own stupid takes to it.
Well, your mama might disagree. Her and a
Like-
few other women, I guess.
Just like how they looked at Othello, I'm just like, would you shut up?
Been a tough few weeks up in that snow.
I like this.
Midsummer Night's Dream is good. Yeah, it's good too.
But not like that.
When are we going back to the other?
I do enjoy a good comedy here and there.
Here, Blackwater?
Yeah.
Well,
But I remember the ones I was younger that I enjoyed the most were probably Julius Caesar, but Titus Andronicus early play very good.
Look there. We left so quick.
Our old DM was the best at making seemingly random encounters be major story parts as he introduced characters according to my sisters seem off, and then turns out he was a vampire that her mage friend fried. Interesting. You gotta love a DM that can do stuff like that, just take random stuff and sort of warp it in. We have a few funny recurring characters that are part of that nonsense.
this looks as good a spot as any.
Alright, don't disappoint me now, kid. It's been a long time since I've seen Raven cover them. Truth be told, a lot of what Extra Credits have done recently has just been like trying to compile some of their old videos and other stuff that we.
Just by the water.
Well, there may be something they've said that was stupid, but I'd have to go back and watch
You show me where.
some of their stuff, and like that's a lot to ask going to watch their content. I just don't want to.
First, we need some bait.
I recommend the stinkiest cheese you can find. Find the good French stuff so that the froggies down in Paris get upset. Don't upset the ones in Marseille. They're nice.
And bring it forward.
Lark, was Morgan Le Fay truly evil, or was it because she found out that Arthur was her brother and had Mordred? I think that depends on which version you're telling. And honestly, that'd be more of a Raven question. He's probably more familiar with Arthurian lore than I am.
Like that?
That's it. Good. All we do now, Jack, is wait for a fish to take the bait.
And remember, there's a reason it's called fishing, not catching.
Well, if you feel the tip of your fishing rod just twitch, don't yank it yet. That just means one's nibbling.
Nibble.
If you feel a hard tug, that's a fish going for the bait. So yank hard to hook it.
Something's tugging at your rod, O'Rourke.
Yeah.
Fish on the line.
Come here, old boy. I'm gonna bring you in. You gonna be dinner. Or, oh no, it's Moby Shrimp. It's a bluegill by the looks of it.
Look, Jack, it's a bluegill. It's almost as small as you. We should really throw these smaller ones back. Give them a chance to grow up a bit.
I don't know, 13 ounces? I could probably rock with that, but whatever. Throw them back, get some karma.
Can I take a
Thoughts on the Crucible? Ah, love
I
it.
want to make something.
Think it's a great play, good movie, too. And I think it's got a very good message that I think a lot of people could do to understand.
I'm gonna pick some of those red flowers. I'll be right back.
All right, you pansy.
I like the look of that spot.
Well, let's see. Hey, Lark, question. How Space Marine chapters openly hate the Sisters of Battle?
There.
Get over here.
See him fighting there, Jack? That's when you gotta be careful. You'll break the line. Best to wear him out first before you try to reel him in.
Well, look at you, you little Fellner.
Oh, this one's a red fin pickerel. Not bad.
I'll keep you. Just because I can. But, how can I openly hate the Sisters of Battle and the Church? And did the Lion feel jealous when Horse became War Master? There's a bit of jealousy, but I also think there was a bit of, why do we need a War Master? You're going back to Terra, but that doesn't mean you stop being in charge. And the Emperor actually has a scene with Lion where he basically explains some men need pomp, ceremony, and titles and all that. You and I aren't like that, though.
For days.
Really?
If you're lucky.
So it's one of those things to keep in mind. Now, why do they openly hate the Sister of Battle? It depends on the chapter. Some have no problem working with the Sisters and like them just fine. Some don't care. Some do actively hate them. But it has to do with, like, keep in mind, most of the Space Marines still believe in the Imperial truth, and so they don't see the Emperor as a god. And so when they see people zealously worshiping the Emperor as a god, they can get a little miffed.
Just taking a rest now. I'm gonna try reeling them in nice and steady.
Another Moby shrimp. How big are you? A rock bass. 1 pound 9 ounces. You, sir, are a fish. I had an idea stuck in my head for everyone asks.
Hey, look at this.
Oh,
What?
This necklace I made.
it's shameful, and you should be upset about that.
What a fine young man.
Nah,
In such complex circumstances.
nah, we're just fishing.
Arthur, isn't it? Arthur Morgan?
Actually, it's
Yes. Arthur Morgan.
Taticus Cornwall or
Vanderlyn's
whatever.
most trusted associate. You've read the files. Typical case. Orphan street kid seduced by that maniac's silver tongue and matures into a degenerate murderer.
I ain't a degenerate.
Agent Ross.
How you doing, Ross? We'll kill you later.
Agency, seconded to the United States government. Nice to finally meet. We know a lot about you.
Do you?
You're a wanted
Want my
man,
autograph?
Mr. Morgan. It's $5,000 for your head alone.
$5,000 for me? Gonna turn myself in?
We want Vanderlyn.
Oh, Dutch. I haven't seen him for months.
That's so. Because I heard a guy fitting his description robbed a train belonging to Leviticus Cornwall up near Granite Pass.
Oh, ain't that a little old-fashioned nowadays?
Apparently not. Listen. This is my offer, Mr. Morgan. Bring in Vanderlyn. You have my word you won't swing.
Oh, I ain't gonna swing anyways, Agent.
Milton.
I'm gonna die of tuberculosis
I haven't
instead.
done anything wrong, aside from not playing the games to your rules.
Spare me the philosophy lesson.
But let's talk macroeconomics instead. Supply and command. Oh, you're not interested in that.
He was pretty shot up by the time I got to him. So really, it was more of a mercy killing.
Wasn't that kind of wait a minute?
But merciful.
You enjoy being a rich man's toy, do you?
I enjoy society, flaws and all. You people venerate savagery, and you will die. Savagely. All of you.
Oh, we're all gonna die.
Again, tuberculosis,
Some
but
of
still.
us sooner than others. Good day, Mr. Morgan.
Goodbye.
If you had any brains in your head, you would just shoot Arthur right now.
Who are they?
Oh, that's a man you're gonna kill one day, Jack.
None at all. Come on, let's pick up your things and get home.
Let's see. I always wondered why they did the Enter X fail when they when they were the exact opposite
Your mother
of the
and me
Imperium.
let's head back.
The Interrex pretty much failed because they got destroyed by Horus. If I'm thinking about the Interrex right. I had an idea stuck in my head for everyone asks, when does a cyborg become a machine? But I propose this one. Can a machine become a cyborg? Like, gives them nerves to feel hard. So basically, like, you make... Then that's the question. Does that become like a clone or something? Because you're, like, taking... Or is it, like, more like a Frankenstein's monster, if you will? It's one of those questions.
Why did you lie about where Uncle Dutch is?
Because those are disagreeable men. And I don't want them to hurt
And if anybody's going to kill Dutch, it's going to be me.
Is he in jail?
Yes, I'm aware the Pinkertons still exist. Which is absolutely wild.
I hope he's just fine where he is.
Arthur could have easily killed Ross and Milton. The only thing that said was Jackie Boy would have finished them later down the line. Yeah. See? TB.
Folk like them. Now, how about that necklace you made? You still got it, right?
Yeah, I got it.
Good.
Now you can show your mother how shameful you are.
It was okay, I think. It's a lot of waiting around.
It is.
You just disappoint me in every way. I have no son. I have no son. It's true, Arthur doesn't. He's John's son. Why do so many 40k fans hate Abaddon and call him Failbadon when he succeeded at destroying Cadia? That's a great question. It's because we don't like him. I have several issues with Failbadon the Armless. One of the jokes that ain't Failbadon the Armless comes from the fact that for the majority of the lore history, there was a fight going around Cadia, like the Siege of Cadia and other stuff like that. And typically in old lore, Cadia was able to withstand. And so the thing is, the joke was the 13 Black Crusades, like, oh, you finally destroyed Cadia on the 13th. You finally got somewhere after 13 tries, so that means you failed 12 times before. But then they started reinforcing in lore, because there were tidbits of it previously, but it was hard to find, that Abaddon had gotten at least minor objectives in the previous 12 Black Crusades that built up to the success of the 13th. But then there's also the issue that Abaddon was Abaddon destroyed Cadia. That was a beloved point. That was a blood-pointed setting, particularly if you were an Imperial Guard player. Cadia was huge, and that lays to, like, you know, the planet broke before the Guard and all that jazz. But also, it's kind of how he won at Cadia. Wasn't due to complex strategies or superior forces or anything. He took the ruined remains of a black fortress and rammed it into a planet, cracking it.
You just need to stay calm.
That's how you win. Blackstone Fortress just yeeted into a planet. Okay. Sure. Why not? And also there's my problem with Abaddon now isn't allowed to fail. Every time he seems to have screwed up or seems to have lost, well, no, he actually did win. You just had to realize, no, actually he's super good. And also here's the problem. He's Chaos's favorite, and therefore he's Games Workshop's favorite. Because I want you to think about it. Yeah, I saw Battlefield Gothic Armada 2. He slammed the fortress into the planet. Yeah. Yes, I did, Jose. You're about to...
Got the full message. What did you think?
I think we need to get the hell out of Dodge.
Real trouble, but the only way out is forward.
I know. That Blackwater business seems to have finished us.
But yeah, so... It seems like, oh, well, he can't do no... Abaddon can do no wrong. Even when he loses, he wins. And that's a very irritating type of antagonist to follow. Because, like, well, you see, I actually got away with being an absolute failure at everything I do because I actually somehow win. And so that's really irritating, particularly when you also consider that there's now that Primarchs are coming back, there's more interesting characters that could fill in the role for him. Like, you know, Porto Rabo would probably make a better War Master than he would. You also have, say, Lorgar, who is actually more wholeheartedly devoted to Chaos, which would make more sense. But no, it has to be Failbadon. And the other issue I have with Abaddon, and this is my biggest issue, believe it or not, I don't like his design. I think the top knot looks stupid. And that's not to say the top knots can't look cool. I think Jagatai's top knot looks phenomenal. But he decided to go for the shave everything but the top of your head, the top center of your head, so it looks like it's just a handle for the Chaos Gods to grab as they... My lawyer has advised me not to finish this joke. And then, of course, there's the joke that the old model that he had, like, the arms would, like, poorly weighted, so they would constantly fall off, hence the name Failbadon the Armless. His newer model apparently is much better, but the thing is, I have Chaos Space Marines, so it's not like I'm against Chaos Space Marines. I'm painting Word Bearers right now. But as a guy who likes the Word Bearers, it irritates me that anytime, like, the Black Legion goes around, even if they lose, they win. But if they need Chaos to lose and get crapped on, grab the Word Bearers, grab the guys that actually are in Chaos for the sake of Chaos. They have to be the ones that take the short end of the stick. Irritates me. In all honesty, the Tau should have absolutely been destroyed by now. I do not care for their railguns, Emperor or Titans. Should have absolutely destroyed them. Anything to convince them not to antagonize the Imperium for at least a little while. Even Lorgar, he would have made more sense, as he would have been far more loyal than any of the other options, and would certainly have a great storyline, especially with G-Man. Yeah, having like reenact the Battle of Calth, I think they would good, but no, they hate Lorgar. They hate the Word Bearers, and so they are going to be the butt of every single Chaos joke. Even though they try and tell us, no, Chaos is super powerful and great. It's just, the ones that are most devoted to Chaos are the weakest. For some stupid reason. They were close to sealing the Eye of Terror. Yes, they were. And then along came the Kamikaze strat. But what are you going to do? Time to shoot Valentine to hell? Oh dear, we're getting too close to that one now, are we? Well, yep. I suppose that is the way it is. Let's go ahead and get this. Clearly Alphyrus will reveal himself and unite all the war bands. Oh, of course he will. Imperium Titans are terrifying. Those horns would make a Godzilla go, nope. Depends on which version of Godzilla, but yeah. But yeah, the Tau, though, in their defense, they have, like there was an ethereal, behind closed doors talking with, a Firecast member who was just like, when we first met humanity, we thought, we can take him. And then their crusade into the Damocles Gulf made us realize, oh no. And so that's why we stopped building bridges and started building walls. Because, holy crap. Oh dear. I was looking to make some more money, and here you idiots are. Give me the pump shotty. I'm messing with shotguns. I really gotta work on my aim. I thought you were gonna auto-lock. You don't know a dang thing now. Hush. I mean, seriously. They have them try to destroy McCrag, then maybe have the Lion show up, save Gilliman at the end, and then considering how Lorgar could convince millions to join Chaos en masse, he would be an even greater threat than Abaddon ever was. But no, we have to have him humiliated in a tower, constantly meditating, I think, while Corvus Corax yells outside, because his whole existence is to be humiliated. He gets humiliated by the Emperor. He gets humiliated by Horus. He gets humiliated by the own gods he worships. Because Lorgar's existence is to be a constant pain and punchline. Despite the fact he is one of the only demon Primarchs to have a legitimate reason to want to actually help Chaos. Seriously, how can the greater good be compared to communism in every way? It's not 100% analogous to communism. It's like how the caste system works. There are some similarities, though. So, what's the reason you like the Salamanders since everyone likes them? Because good guys, for me, it's personally because I like flamethrowers go burr. I enjoy the Salamanders because, of course, they're friendly and other stuff like that. I'm like Raven, and I wish that wasn't a trade exclusive to the Salamanders. But I do like their empathy and compassion. I also like the fact that they have flamethrowers go burr. I do kind of like the tragic irony that they are so good at flaming, but they're so using flamethrowers, and that they want to protect civilians, but those flamethrowers that sometimes accidentally burn those civilians. And what the heck? Look on my works. Oh, dearie me. Where's the trail going? Perhaps I went the wrong way? Oh, that's just foul. Professionals have standards, gentlemen. Hey, Lark, one more question. If you got stuck in the corn realm, what would you do? Probably die. My skull would join the skull, rest on the skull throne. This is just wrong. I've never looked this heavily into this, but it's hard to tell because the trail seems to start here. What do you think is the most underrated Xeno faction in Warhammer? Probably the Craft World Eldar. Those are the ones, at least the ones with models anyway. The problem therein is that they just will not let the Eldar have a win. They've built up a very cool possibility with the Yanari as, you know, a distinct possibility. And then they just go, nah, can't happen, and then just discontinue that. And then every other time they release something about the Eldar, it's just, let's just crap on them. So I'd really like them to see them do something with the Yanari and the Craft World Eldar again. You know, like maybe bust Isha out of prison. If we're going to bring back all the Primarchs, we can bring back Isha. Come on! It'll be fun. There's a head with a knife in it to your right. Oh, do I have to take that out? You can bring any race from Fantasy Age of Sigmar to 40k. I'm Skaven. Skaven, 100%. Bunch of rat men running around doing stuff. Oh, that'd be perfect.
You poor bastard.
Killer Clue Piece 1. Looks like a trail into the forest. Me. You don't need to be displayed like that. That's 3 pieces. I think they're scared if they get rid of a Slanesh hold on them, they'll just destroy the setting immediately, given their renewed psychic strength and vastly outstripping even Malkador. I know that that's sort of a thing, but the thing is, they could still have, like, Slanesh have some degree of hold over them, because she was produced in part by the Eldar. But it would be nice to see them get a little bit of a boost and a buff, though. I was wondering why India never tried unifying previously as Portugal had easy pickings and the Dutch. Well, how much... Oh, crap, I gotta help these guys out. Give me my repeater.
Get out of here! This doesn't concern you.
It does now.
Take it in, boys.
Gotta help out my neighbors. If we get 40k Skaven, I'd like them to be from Krieg after the irradiated planet. Krieg irradiated a planet. That would be funny. I like to think they just like drilled in a wormhole from 40k, because at one point, if it is to be believed, the Skaven in old fantasy wound up calling the Eldar, which that is wild. So hey, there's a connection there. There's a connection. And now they can burrow through dimensions and stuff. It's because Portugal had the Goa and the Dutch had Ceylon. The thing is, the Indian subcontinent has been united, or at least close to unified, under a few different empires. The Mughals were kind of a unifying force, but they were starting to weaken as the Europeans rolled into town. So, and a lot of like the European colonization into India was done with the help of local Indian principalities and other stuff. But also, the idea of a unified India was also, with the exception of like the Gupta Empire, the Mughal Empire, or the Maharana Empire, which typically left out the southern tip of the continent. Typically, they were just divided into so many different kingdoms and stuff. Like when the British left, they were pretty sure they didn't think India would survive. It would break into multiple countries. And it kind of did, because it broke into Pakistan and Bangladesh and India. We have Speedy Mechs beat the Earth Savages Imperium. Oh, really? Mechanica, show them what makes the machine gun spirit hum. Titan blasting Japanese idea music while marching towards them. That would be funny. Because that's what we need. We need more Mechanicus going, oh, we haven't showed you the good stuff yet. Let me show you the good stuff.
Well, don't feel you have to hang around on my account.
Stay out of trouble.
I'll try.
I helped these folks out. I did my good deed for the day.
Okay, boy.
All right. Let's ride into Valentine, and let's buy a few things before we have to decrease the population by, you know, massive numbers. Such a peaceful town. Of all the planets in Sol that they had to set up shop, why Mars? Well, the reason why is not so much they set up shop, they just sort of naturally evolved out of Mars. Because Mars was one of the first candidates for human colonization, because, you know, that's the one we're realistically talking about. And in any sci-fi setting, with colonization being a factor, you're going to have Mars get colonized to at least a certain degree. And so Mars actually was colonized very heavily terraformed into basically being a second Earth. And so things were great, things were going good, but then, you know, Dark Age of technology happened, Great Strife, all that jazz. Mars terraforming goes away, atmosphere is pretty much stripped, and so humans have to survive in bunkers, and they have to rely on technology to stay alive. And so the cult Mechanica sort of grew out of this idea. Particularly, it doesn't help when in the middle of Mars is sealed the Void Dragon, which is a Catan, which, you know, is what made the Necrons what they were. So that's kind of how the Mechanicus evolved out of Mars, rather than just going, ooh, I like Mars. Let's see. Let's customize a bit so we can clean off some of these. Trying to reduce our carbon footprint with the gallons of blood. The Genghis Khan method. And arguably, if anybody says that the Imperium would lose in a fight with another universe, I always ask, what OP Dark Age of technology Mechanicus pull out of their ass? And there's certain universes that could get away with it, but it's just kind of
Good. Ain't no trace of rust on that.
I don't need to clean
front, I
that.
can see.
How about my Lancaster?
You keep treating that like your own child, all right? Good on you.
Farming's probably fine. How about my Springfield?
It's beautiful condition. Keep it up.
The double bubble, there's the pump.
Good. Ain't no
Wait,
trace
there's a
of us
Catan
around
that's sealed in
the
Mars?
galaxy.
Yes, the Emperor in the medieval period, according to old lore, like warped over to Mars, fought the Void Dragon, and then sealed it within Mars. So, yeah, that happened. Enjoy that.
Okay, now let me see.
Need to buy some shells. Also find that the Emperor's shield was used in the Emperor's sealing of the Void Dragon in Mars, so yet can probably deflect blows from the Chaos Gods. Yep, Captain America eats your hide out. Let's see.
If it weren't for all the bounties running around New Hanover, I'd be out of business.
Not sure about that, but okay.
Yeah?
I haven't thought of the idea of a Skaven Grenadier that has a bunch of grenades strapped to his arms, and then as a melee attack, he just pulls the pins out of grenades and then punches them. Yep. Yeah, the Lion has the shield of the Emperor now, which is why he was able to survive and
Need
kill,
anything else, let me know.
banish Angron.
Thank you for your help,
Hold on. Let's see how these boys are doing.
gentlemen.
Hey,
Mister, everything okay? Partner? All right. Well, good luck to you.
Simple folk, but polite. Shame to kill them. Alright, let's go see... We gotta meet
Move on,
someone.
will ya? Go already. You're about to earn yourself a whooping.
Oh, I'd love to see you try.
Hi there.
Who let the simpleton out of the asylum?
You asked for it now.
Your head off.
I thought I'd seen everything.
Whoa, what the heck? Oh, shoot!
Who's talking now? Huh?
Okay, he pulled a knife. I am not the one who escalated that. But show him some man. Yeah, this is wow. I got heated real quick.
Hell, there's a face I haven't seen in some time.
Indeed. Unavailable due to recent actions and actually return at a later time. Ah, fine. I'll go find like a stagecoach to rob or something. It looks like it's time to commit manslaughter. He's alive. Is he? Meh. Oh, well, nobody's trying to arrest me. Man pulled a knife and still, yeah. And now I just gotta go find someone who can stitch back in my internal organs. We get that it's a sun that's the main sequence stage, while they got one that was unstable, huh? I think out of all the Xenos, the Necrons got the short end of the stick. Not the Necron, well, yeah, the Necrons too, technically. But the Necron tier, that's a rough situation to be in. You grow up with a heavily irradiated planet. You finally think you find salvation, and the great old ones go, we're going to tolerate your existence, but don't think that we're teaching you immortality. Looks over at the Eldar with all the cool stuff they get, but come on! No. So they decide, you know what, let's go to war with the Catan. Well, not the Catan, go to war with the old ones. Lose. Then they go, you know what we need to do? The Necron 2 dynasties are starting to fight each other. We need to unify them and fight the old ones again, but we lost. How are we going to do it? The Catan. Allow me to introduce ourselves.
We will not take up a moment longer than we got to.
Easy.
Give over your money and your back
Sometimes...
to my compadre here, and we will be on. Get the hell out of here!
Come on now, boys! Don't run. Don't run. I don't have a scoped rifle.
Come on, you cowards!
It's over, O'Driscoll. I have the high ground. And what did we learn, O'Driscoll? And why did I lose karma for that? I did a good deed. I stopped a train robbing, and I'm the bad guy? The nerve of some people, I tell you. People seem to forget how powerful the Spring... Yeah, Springfield had some kick, man. They could have cured the Sixes and not give them mortality, but they both ones basically, just die. I think it was because, like, the Necrontyr were beings that they didn't create, so they're like, we don't have any particular affection for them. Oh, that's why I could... Oh. Man, the O'Driscoll's made a mess of this place. Oh, crap. Sloppy job, honestly. Oh, well, we better get out of here before this gets pinned on me, because I know some moron will. But yeah, good action on Springfield there. Alright, I can go back. What do you think of Pancreas Network's Halo versus Warhammer videos? I like Pancreas Network. I really do. And I even like some of the concepts that he has in talking about them. I like how he acknowledges like how the UNSC would probably fare against Warhammer and other stuff. But there's a few things that I think his love of Halo kind of blocks him from things like, for example, like when he talks about the Flood could just wipe the Imperium and everything in Warhammer. With the exception of maybe like some of the Chaos, like the Chaos factions and other stuff, I think he's probably got a point. That one's fair. Forerunners, again, have to wholeheartedly agree. I think they could body most everything just because they are that good. But the Covenant being able to become a stabilized faction in Warhammer, no. I don't believe so. Because one thing I think he does is, like, I think he discounts the Space Marines so much because he compares, like, yeah, the elites are kind of like Space Marines if they actually had brain cells because they're not going to just go charging into battle. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. How many times did I shoot a shield down on an elite in Halo and they whipped out the plasma sword and charged me? A lot of times, I'll tell you that. The elites are just more like honor-bound idiots than the Space Marines are. In fact, the Space Marines, though they may get the reputation of, hey, we're going to run into melee and kill people, they get that reputation because that works. And against the Covenant, I think the Space Marines, heck, I think the Imperial Guard would shred them. Because here's the thing I don't think he understands, because we see the Covenant just waffle-stomping the UNSC. And the majority of that is technological and air and space superiority. Because here's the thing: if you look at the history of the Covenant, they do not win because they're smart. They win because they have better tech. When they won against the Lagos, the Hunters, superior tech. When they won against the Jackals, superior tech. The Grunts I can't even count as a victory. They just showed up and said, "You're ours now." But again, why? Because superior tech. How did the Prophets manage to incorporate the Sangheili? Because they were actually using the Forerunner tech. Not, like, they were actually terrible fighters because the Sangheili could still kick their butts. When the UNSC didn't actually had space control of an area, the UNSC ground troops were able to handle the Covenant forces relatively well. And here's the thing, they're not going to have the same advantages when fighting in 40K. Because let's say you pop the entire Covenant apparatus into the middle of the 40K galaxy, and then they run across the Imperium. Well, guess what? They're not going to have the same space advantage anymore. You're like, well, their spaceships aren't necessarily as great. Maybe they're even a little bit better. Who knows? Well, here's the problem. When they're fighting the UNSC ships don't have shields. So they can knock as many of those out of the sky as they want. And there were still battles they lost to the humans. Now they're fighting a competent enemy, the Imperial Navy, or the Eldar Navy, or the Necron Navy, or the Tau Navy, or even the Orc Navy, for Pete's sake, and God forbid they fight the Chaos Gods and their fleets. Now they're fighting against people that actually have either equal to or superior technology and that have had literally thousands of years of naval experience, whereas the Covenant has next to none in comparison of actually fighting competent foes. They just don't have the experience. They're only used to just coming in, showing up, and winning due to numbers and to superior technology. The superior technology is not going to hold. The numbers are not going to hold because the Imperial Guard are going to show them what a war of attrition really looks like. And here's the thing. I think the Lasguns will do fine against the Covenant. And I think that a lot of people underestimate the Imperial Guard and what they can do. Because I remember reading Dead Men Walking and seeing how the Kriegsmen were able to hold off Necron advances, even though they have very, very much weaker technology. But they are still able to do it. And so I don't think the Covenant's going to struggle against just the baseline Guard, let alone when we throw in Space Marines into the mix. I don't think they're going to win against the Sisters of Battle. I don't think they're going to win against the Space Marines unless the Space Marine or Guard or whatever is just incredibly stupid. And here's the thing. Again, they're not used to fair fights or fights where they're at a disadvantage.
Collect some. Help us get some sheep.
Yeah. So this thing. People forget how good Lasguns and cannons are, would absolutely body Covenant all. It wouldn't be a challenge. Because like, oh, but the Covenants have body shields. Some of them do. Some of the elites and brutes do. But a lot of them don't. And here's the thing. Against ballistic weapons, sure, that'll be a good thing. But the Lasgun is going to, after a few shots, take it down. And they're like, but yeah, and this was Painter's, plasma weapons are still plasma weapons. Are the plasma weapons as powerful as what the Imperium has? In terms of plasma versus plasma, I don't think so. And two, getting shot isn't ideal. Whether you get shot with a Lasgun, get a kinetic bullet, or whatever, that's not the problem. So guess what? Yes, you shot a Space Marine, and you might have melted through a bit of ceramite. I actually read somewhere that the ceramite armor of a Space Marine is actually stupid thick and can tank a few plasma bolts. So I don't think that it's just going to be, haha, I'm going to spew a few plasma bolts at you and all the Space Marines are dead. No. I think they're going to learn how to fear the Space Marines. In fact, Raven actually wrote a little fan fiction story if the Dark Angels Legion showed up at the Battle of Reach to turn the tide. And I particularly enjoyed that. I thought it was fun. Of course, I was also the one who requested it, but that's neither here nor there.
There's a hitching post over there.
Yeah.
Tether the horse and I'll meet you across the street.
But yeah, that's just the thing. The Covenant, I think people overestimate a great deal, because I remember one person like, yeah, the Covenant would probably absorb the Tau. No, I think the Covenant's best chance for survival is to actually be absorbed by the Tau. I think that's their best chance of survival.
Gun store?
Yep. Can you, head in, pick up a sniper rifle?
Sure I can.
Oh, well, hello again. How can I help you today?
He's like, you were just in here, why are you in here?
Rifle. Something with a sight on it.
Shouldn't be a problem. You want to see what we've got? It's
All
all
right.
in the catalog.
As I was replaying Mass Effect, I always wondered, why did the Council not prepare for the Reapers and prepare in secret instead of doing it in public? Because the Council is, and will always be filled with morons. Because it's filled with bureaucrats who are more interested in covering their own asses than they are actually dealing with the real threats. Very realistic take. Thanks for the $0 rifle. Greatly appreciated. Remember, if the Astartes disappear, the Imperium will fall in a year, but if the Mechanicus disappeared, they'll fall in a month. If every member of the Guard disappeared, it will fall in a day. Damn right. Speaking of Tau, what do you think of them? They're not my favorite, but I do like them. I like some of their aesthetics. I like some of their design. I don't necessarily like how the lore all treats them, and I don't like how when people go like, oh, it's just the Taus are the only good guys. No, they have their own faults and flaws, particularly with how they treat basically subject races. And you could argue, well, they're kind of better than the Imperium in certain instances. You could certainly say something along those lines. But I also don't like how they go like, oh, their technology is just so much better than the Imperium. In certain ways, it's better. In other ways, it's worse. Like, one thing they will admit is, like, our genetic manipulation is nowhere near as good as what the Imperium's is. So we got a medium scope, that's fine, barrel, rifling. But the Tau, for what they are, okay. If anything, I find the Tau fan base to be slightly annoying. Not the ones that are just like, hey, I like Tau, and I like playing Tau. Not a problem. Because there's some people that watch the channel that like playing Tau, and they're pleasant people to deal with. What I don't like is when we have People that just go like, you have if you like you have to like the Tau because they're the only good faction. It's like, no, Farsights are the only good Tau. Hush now. But I think the Tau, I don't want them gone. I want them to suffer a huge loss. I want them to start to realize, like, oh crap, the galaxy is like not only bad, but it's also corrupting us. And we're starting to see a bit of that, so I'm looking forward to see where they go. Why do you think they're annoying? Oh, the fans? Because it's a sad, vicious cycle. Because some people will treat Tau fans badly because they consider them weeaboo space communists. And then those Tau fans treat Imperium fans and anyone who's not a Tau fan like crap. Because I remember, like, Raven and I actually responded to a guy who's just like, the Imperium are fascists, they're all evil, blah, blah, blah. And you let people go like, well, you can't like the Imperium unironically. You have to like the only ones you're allowed to like unironically are the Tau. And basically there's some Tau fans that act as like they're morally superior to everybody because they picked the weeaboo space communists who aren't actually weeaboo space communists. They're weeaboo space Hindus, which means there's a difference. Basically, ironically, the Tau and Society are actually kind of similar to the Forerunner because of the caste system they have. And also, I subscribe to the personal headcanon that the Tau are in some way related to the Necron tier. But hey, that's just me. I like their mechs because they remind me of Titanfall. Yeah, that's true. I like the design of some of their mechs and some of their guns. I think the pulse rifle is a cool weapon. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would always pick the Emperor's beloved las gun over such filthy Xenos tech, but, you know, game recognizes game.
Tell me what you got me doing here before I turn around and hit the breeze.
Yes, John, what am I doing? I wasn't paying attention. We're gonna buy sheep! I knew it, we're finally gonna start a ranch!
Yeah, I know that place.
Alright, why do you think the Tau are related to the Necron tier? Because if you look at, like, art of what the Necron tier looked like, they look like Tau, but brownish gray. And that's why I'm kind of like, wait a minute. Because you also got to consider how the ethereal, like how the Tau history came to be. Up until, like, say, 6,000 years before the current setting, the Tau were basically very primitive. Cavemans biting on rocks, different clans fighting each other. Because you had the big fire clan, the earth clan, the air clan, the water clan, Avatar, that's why. And so they were all doing their own thing, fighting each other until the Ethereals, this secret clan, came out of nowhere and united them for the greater good. And they seem to have almost this sort of they almost have like this pheromone-like control over them. Almost like they were engineered to take control of the Tau race and expand them out. And then being connected to the Necrons would also make sense because they have a great deal of prowess with technology, reverse engineering stuff, and particularly they reverse engineered most Imperial tech quite effectively, except for genetic tech. And I think it goes along with the design as well, because remember, a lot of the Necrons the Necron tier were trying to find a way to cure their conditions. What if the Tau was the cumulative research of one Necron dynasty who actually managed to get it done and thus produced the Tau? Now, is that correct? Probably not. Would it be cool? Maybe. Would people complain about it? Absolutely. Imperial Dreadnought, I'm older than your whole culture. Exactly.
Looks like one of them don't scare too easy.
Put another shot in close. You'll get the message. That ought to do it. All right, let's go round them up.
We're finally ranchers. So the Tau being Necrons that finally return to flesh, no wonder they're still alive. Trazen's making sure they never will. Well, I don't think Trazen, and that's the thing, the Necrons, when they interacted with Tau, did not recognize them as anything, and you could argue they really don't remember. It's been a couple million years. And, you know, memory, as to quote Trazen himself, memory's a fickle thing. And it's also highly possible that a lot of the differences, the blue skin, maybe the cloven hooves, I don't know what Necron tier feet look like, that's not in my search history, don't try asking me about it. But but that could be like, hey, there was one Necron dynasty that maybe had computers or simulations or whatever, that he spent millions of years trying to genetically modify Necron tier to finally be able to survive past, like, with all of their cancel-riddled nonsense. In fact, if you read The Infinite and the Divine, they're like the point of what both of them are trying to find is like the tomb of the last biological leader of the Necron tier, who never got turned into a Necron. And so it is and so I like to think that it's possible that one of them, or maybe an offshoot of that, was worked on that, and that's why there's so many different casts. They produced each cast to either do something or were failed attempts, and then when they're finally content with what they had, they went over and they released the ethereals. Perhaps they transferred their souls back into the thing. That's another reason why a lot of people think that they might have a relationship to the Necron tier, because their souls are very, very dim in the warp. The Necron tier did not have a huge presence in the warp when they were humans. Well, not when they were humans, but when they were still living. Hence the reason why they think, hey, there could be a connection here. And I think that's kind of a cool connection. Because it would also make me forgive why they were able to, like, catapult themselves off so quickly. It's because they had a Necron dynasty in their past kind of backing them. Being a Dreadnought has to be a miserable existence. Sleep, fight over and over and over again. Unless you're Bjorn, then you get out to drink with the boys and tell stories, but yeah. Hey Lark, when do you play ME2? Do you kill Space Sidonis? I usually spare him as he's already paying for his actions, so killing him serves no purpose, at least to me. You mean like in, gosh, I have words like, he's the best space bro since Chewbacca. Garrus. I mean, Garrus' sort of personal quest. I typically spare him, if for no other reason than I think it's the better ending for Garrus. But, yeah. I kind of spare him too for similar reasons. And even then, Bjorn's kind of getting sick of it. That's why I want Bjorn to die. And I don't mean out of hate. Bjorn's probably my favorite Space Wolf that isn't Lehman Russ. Because it's really kind of tragic being the last one who remembers Lehman, being forced to kind of stay behind, even though he really wanted to travel with him, but he has this sort of responsibility. It'd be really cool if there's one last huge battle on Fenris, and then Lehman Russ comes back and sort of greets Bjorn one last time and thanks him for holding the line for 10,000 years and finally lets him die his warrior's death. I think that'd be a really sweet way to not only reintroduce Lehman, but also to give Bjorn sort of the final respect, and sort of like giving Dante what he wants, except not Dante, it's Bjorn. Thoughts on the Genesis chapter and how they're the ultimate form of weaponized spreadsheets for the Ultramarines to be Codex compliance? Yeah, that's like, oh, Gilliman, you finding loopholes, of course you would. Hold on, we got a sheep that don't want to behave. Get moving. Sheeps were never known for their intelligence, granted, but come on! Does anybody have any wheat? I could double our supply.
Those are up, boys.
There you go.
Oh yeah, okay.
God damn it!
All right, let's chat, fellas.
They're okay.
You seen better around here?
I've seen ones with less ambiguity about their provenance.
What are you trying to say?
I'm trying to say, you give me 25% kickback, and I won't say nothing to nobody. Everything all right here?
Excuse me?
Sure, I'll excuse you.
Thank you.
25%.
You want me to put another hole in your head?
Folks swing for rustling livestock. 25%.
15.
20.
18.
Done.
Just look at you negotiating, John Marston. I'm proud of you.
Calm yourself, friend. Just think of it as buying your sins.
You're buying. We're paying.
Go on now.
I never was one for indulgences.
Come back after the auction. You'll get your money.
Yay!
Dutch is waiting for us at the saloon.
Yes?
Oh, there goes our money. Yeah. especially with Raven's idea, it would be really cool to have a Battle of the Fang in which thousands of suns actually win, like they should have the first time, especially when considering the parallel to the Thousand Suns. They would become relatively the same. Yeah. Yeah, that's why I know a lot of Space Wolf fans were upset with Raven's take because they're like, that's not how it happened. Like, yeah, we know. This is an opinion on what should happen. It's like, it goes against the lore. Yeah, we know. We're saying the what ifs, my dude. But no, a lot of fans get upset when to some suggestions. Chapter Master of the Crimson Sword is a dreadnought. The man also stopped an argument by literally just standing between the two so they couldn't see each other. Literally just, oh, hey, what's going on here? What's the matter? Troll move right there. I love it. Thank you. Let's not use the Springfield. Let's use the... Put the dynamite away, Arthur!
Not every, but
After you, sir.
believe in absolutes, just shades of gray. Compromises.
Compromise.
Settle down there, Mr. Austrian.
Gentlemen,
Dutch, Leopold.
Where have you been?
Working. Marston's thing.
Good.
Is that way if it goes wrong, it's Marston's fault.
Hey, a few sheep.
I love the Space Wolf Ragnarok story idea. Yeah, Bjorn could have died in that. Could or probably die in that story. Yeah, I want him to die so he can sort of pass that torch back to Lehman.
Drink?
Sure.
I'm always good for a drink.
Nothing like...
Hey, Lark, could you tell me the story about the first time you saw
I
Braveheart?
should have left him where I found him all those years ago. Bookish little Austrian.
Well,
Off the boat, his eyes out
I
of the
believe
stars.
I got the DVD from Netflix back when they still delivered DVDs, and I put it in my DVD player, and I watched it. And I thought, this is a good movie.
Thank you.
Is it historically accurate? No, not really. But I enjoyed it. It was a good movie. It's kind of like the other Mel Brooks thing, like a history. The Patriot. Is it historically accurate? Not entirely. Was it still a fun movie? Absolutely.
My name is Leviticus Cornwall.
Have you seen my toupee?
Messed with by the likes of you.
I wanted someone with a better sense of dress messing with me.
Before I have these men killed.
Oh no, not John. Oh, and hi, Leopold.
Get out here, you depraved piece of trash.
You start spinning the yarn.
Yeah, amazing story. Absolute storyteller. I aim to please. I really do.
Why not?
Cornwall.
Vandalin, you're done. Now get out here now. Deal with this nonsense. Please, gentlemen, this is a terrible mistake. This is a case.
Yeah, he's not Dutch. He's from Belgium.
What is worse
Wait, I'm on the wrong account.
than admonishing a man
Oh no, Viking. How many accounts do you have?
wants to be the Messiah, not me. Nor do I want to be this Dutch Vanderlyn, whomever he may be. I am a lay preacher. I said so.
I'm working on it, okay? Ooh, what'd you drop? What'd you drop? Nothing special. Oh shoot, we're in the middle of a fight. That's right. Get in the cover. Is the shotgun cheating? Perhaps. But I'm an American. I don't fight fair. What's your favorite alternate history setting? Like, I personally like Kaiser. Kaiserreich is fun. I would love, like, a Battlefield 1 style game set in Kaiserreich universe. Like, I thought they could have carried on Battlefield 1 with DLC based purely off of stuff like Kaiserreich and Timeline 191. I'm working on... Why are you... Don't push me in the wagon. You pushed me into the wagon, I'm riding the wagon. There we go. Now I've got some better cover. Again, I love your town. Unfortunately, my boss sucks. Sorry, sorry.
You can talk. We all heard you whine about a little egg from a wolf. Would you shut up, you filthy bastard?
You could help, Dutch. So I'm not reading chat right now. I gotta focus on this. Smart man going for the heights like that. A wise man always tries to get the high ground.
This is madness! You're on the front line now, Mr. Strauss! Put a bullet in that! Horses are over there! Grab Strauss and let's go!
Wait, why do I have to grab Strauss?
You can't leave me like this!
I can, and honestly it's tempting, but honestly, you're not the worst in the gang. You're just the most German. Als Deutsch, aber...
A quiet drink, I get shot.
Alright. Who put the stick in my way?
Oh, never again.
Wait, do I... Who wants him? Just, which horse do I put him on?
Looks like we're clear. Let's go.
Okay.
Put Strauss on the back of John's horse and let's get out of here.
I was trying to do that, but you wouldn't let me. You named the horse Old Boy? Why'd you name it after a Korean flick?
We'll get back to camp.
But yeah, so anyway, where was I?
Get him to start packing up. Sure.
Media can be historically authentic, but not accuracy run Total War in 1 to a lesser extent. Because, but yeah. Well, yeah, we were talking about Kaiserreich and stuff. I really do enjoy Kaiserreich. There's a lot that I appreciate. I think the idea of the Second American Civil War is really cool. And I think that would be a great, like, again, Battlefield 1, but Second American Civil War. I would love to fight for the Kingfisher. And maybe even Douglas MacArthur, America's Caesar. But Syndicalists and California can get it. New England? Well, I'll admit you exist. And Hawaii? You just wait. Vengeance shall be mine. But as far as favorite alternate history settings, Harry Turtledove stuff like his Southern's Victory series, I kind of like. I think that's fun. I also love just the wacky zaniness of if you've ever read it, the World at War series, where basically these lizard aliens come out and attack Earth during World War II, but they weren't like they were expecting humanity basically to be in like the medieval period, but then they roll up and they see tanks everywhere and they're like, oh gosh, this isn't what we prepared for, because they're not like super fast advancing aliens. Like they have tech which is slightly better than what we have in the 21st century, but they're not used to the ingenuity of humans, and so like the Nazi Germany, Soviet Union, America, Britain, Japan all have to band together to fight against the alien menace. It was a fun 4-part series. I was saying Tino is my favorite alt history because it actually shows the horrors of fascism. When you say TNO, which are you talking about? I'm not sure I understand that abbreviation, Michael. Even cynic in the Midwest feels odd to me, considering how the church in the countryside would actually be crushed by those commies. Yeah. All right. Let's see. How bad is the bounty? $60? That's not too bad. The New Order, The Last Days of Europe. I'm not familiar with that one. I might have to look into it. Sorry for knocking over your 2x4. I better steer clear of the city limits. They probably don't want me here. But, you know, for shooting up a town, $60 don't seem too bad. But actually, that's a good question, since there's a bounty on my head specifically for $5,000 from the Pinkertons. If I shift them $5,000, like, would I be able to go, like, it's like, all right, we're here for the rest of Van der Linde's gang, except Arthur, he paid his debt off to society, literally. Lark, since your favorite food is steak, where and when did you have the best steak you ever ate? Hard to say, because I've had a lot of good steaks. I enjoy cooking my own steak, particularly a good ribeye. Probably the best steak, I don't know why, but like there was this one steakhouse I went to in Florida when I was with my family vacationing in Orlando. It wasn't in one of the parks, it was outside of one of the parks. It wasn't like a chain restaurant, it was just like this random steakhouse we decided, and I decided to get a ribeye, and it was one of the best ribeyes I ever had. But I also enjoy anytime my dad cooks steak is always good because he's a master on the grill. Raven is like I do a good chunk of the cooking of the steak, but when Raven wants to, he can do a good steak. But typically he's busy working on something, so I'm the one that busts out the cast iron skillet. It's a mod where everything goes right for the Axis. Ah, and I mean everything. Interesting. This must be for Hearts of Iron. How you doing, Javier?
There he is.
All right.
Is that the plan? For now. When do we stop? When we reach Paris?
No, Vienna.
Join the commune. We stop when we find someplace sensible. Shake them that's following us and lie low.
This is lying low. Turned into a bunch of killers. I mean it. We ain't even got the delusion of being anything but a bunch of killers.
We are just trying to survive, Hosea.
Mom, Dad, please stop fighting.
This will end soon.
Damn right it will.
Constipated as usual.
Do you need a laxative?
Sorry, Hosea.
I want to talk to him. Hosea, words of wisdom. Please, Hosea, talk to me. Why do you go where I can't follow? I ain't talking to Sean. Due to its nature as a Cold War mod, you can fight Germany and Japan directly. You have to use proxy wars. Ooh. All I'm wondering about Kaiserreich is if they do make an official timeline, how would the Spanish Civil War go, considering the French would be fully communist? The French would fully throw their support in with the Republican side. Definitely, but it would just be another syndicalist revolt. So Germany would definitely be supporting, but the thing is, the French would probably pour up so much support in order for the Germans to actually give enough support to the nationalists to actually win. They would probably have to just directly get involved, and I'm not sure they could afford to do that. But really, the big event in the game is realistically the American Civil War, just because, that's meaty. I love that. I love the tension.
So, we moving? Yeah.
In Kaiserreich, not in like a real life thing.
We can lie low. Look here. Newberry Creek, he said.
Man, use Sean as a shield against Lark's advance.
Take a look, clear off anyone you find before the
$5,000 for your head. Hands him $5,000. How did you... I have so much money, I don't know what to do with it.
start dancing.
What about the Entente? What's left of the Entente in the Kaiserreich is pretty much Canada and what's left of the Dominion.
Worry because I worry. We are just the same.
Then why are you drenched fancier than I am?
I need you for something. Sure, this can wait.
Javier, you take care of yourself now.
All right, boy.
Got to ride to Dewberry Creek. I'm just wondering if Franco could still win even if the Republicans couldn't fight for shit. Maybe an invasion from the north could help them. That's the thing, because the Spanish Civil War is a messy affair. Franco had some good soldiers like the African troops, and by that I mean the ones that fought in Spanish Morocco that got shipped over. They were very good fighters. The Carlists, they could occasionally put up a fight. The Flangists were corrupt, but of course they were. But whatever you want to describe the nationalists as, the Republic the Republican forces were even worse because there was even more infighting. You had the anarchists and the communists and the syndicalists all trying to fight each other, and the only reason they didn't get destroyed outright is because of the international brigades coming in to prop up the support, which is one of the reasons why after the war they were so harsh towards the international brigades, because we would have won earlier if you hadn't come in and stymied our advance into Madrid. Charles, we can't just say that. How about the droid attack on the Wookiees? Yes, good relations with the Wookiees I have. I shall go to Kashyyyk. There are also French nationalists in North Africa. You mean like in real world? Which technically, yes. And also in Kaiserreich. Yeah, honestly, that was one of the trailers that really stuck out with me. How he's like, I remember what France was, and I remember how you betrayed me. And one day, I'm going to repay that betrayal. And I'm kind of like, I want to follow that guy. I want to see that storyline of, like, these rebels, like, these French Foreign Legion guys, maybe not Foreign Legion, but these nationalist French, like, brewed in the fires of North Africa, just come out and wipe the floor. But then again, he also had that, like, with Canada trying to retake the British Isles, which, I don't know if you guys could tell this, I'm not a big fan of the syndicalists. I don't like them. Vultures, clear out.
He's been shot. Looks like trouble got here before us.
Ah, she's wearing pants. I haven't heard that in a while. Yep. I was just wondering, even with support, could the Republicans even win, let alone survive, considering they have to kill the entire countryside to win? Realistically, I don't think they could, because they just don't have the military training necessary to do it. And also, here's the thing. After the fact, we look down on Franco and the nationalists because of the fascist elements inside, and like, oh, you committed war crimes. The Republicans didn't do themselves any favors because the communists, even Republicans, anarchist elements, they committed unforgivable war crimes as well. They started to they killed priests and nuns and just did some horrific stuff. But they were generally a little bit better with the whole press thing. But still, even that got out, which is why England and France were kind of hesitant to support the Republicans, because they viewed both sides as like, oh, well, you're both kind of awful. And then the Pope came out in favor of the nationalists because, well, when you start killing priests and nuns, that's going to make some people upset in the Vatican. And I can't blame them. Glass houses everywhere. Ain't that the truth? Wait a minute. I smell the Deutsch. Oh, hey there.
It's okay. Come out of there.
They don't speak English.
Okay. I don't mean no harm.
All right. Dutch free maids.
He said, are you okay?
Sprechen Sie Deutsch?
German.
German?
I don't speak German neither.
Now go on, get out of here. Go, we need the land, go. Get the hell out of here.
They took our father.
Who did?
Men, last night.
Need a little bit more specifics than that, sweetie.
Ain't no business of ours.
Shut up, let this happen.
I don't even speak their language.
You ain't as tough and dense as all that. Come on with her.
Charles, being the voice of reason, yet again. Come on, man. We gotta help out the poor German fellers.
This way. Let's see if we can pick up a trail.
Listen, they're having a rough day, and besides, we also get a gold bar out of this, so let's go. Even outlaws know not to harm women. Well, some do.
This way.
Based on the way, like, they shot a woman back there, and based on the way that they were hiding, I'm assuming they either missed them or just viewed them as not worth it.
We're wanted, man. We got Pinkertons braiding down our necks. We should be moving camp.
What do you think of Mosley and Mussolini being part of the syndicalists? Essentially, that they would end up there, particularly because Mussolini was socialist in his early life. Yeah, so Mussolini being a syndicalist in his early life, not a syndicalist, a socialist in his early life, having it integrated into the syndicalists doesn't bother me too much. Mosley, on the other hand, that's an interesting one, because Mosley was a very hard fascist as well. And seeing him, because if I recall correctly in the Kaiserreich mod, he actually kind of warped syndicalism into sort of a fascism that Orwell is disgusted with. Though considering the French were full-on commies, they may not be as subtle as they were in our world. Subtlety is not a strong suit of the French. In my visit to Spain, our tour guide mentioned that they only recently got their monarchy back, but they had a panting Spanish palace of the last royal family that was out of date when it was finished. I'd like to visit Spain. Tour the place of the Reconquista.
Continues along the shore here.
French? Subtle? Exactly. No one looks at French anything and goes, yeah, that was understated. That is a foreign language to the French, and don't they know it?
Yeah, but he has more folk looking out for him than most of the rest of us.
My mom visited Spain when she was on duty. But yeah, I'd like to visit, places like Madrid, Toledo, Valencia. Whoops. Valencia, Barcelona. Like I was saying, what stopped Franco from taking Gibraltar, given that the UK was distracted? Because, if you're referring to during World War II, because he knew dang well throwing in with Hitler was probably not going to win. He was a scheming he had just won the Spanish Civil War, and that was very brutal. He was still rebuilding Spain. He did not want to throw all of his cards behind the Germans because he was very much concerned that things could suddenly go against the Germans, and then his position and Spain's position could be in jeopardy. And he made the right call, because once America entered in, and really first the Soviets, then the Americans entered into the conflict, he was like, I'm going to play this one by ear. And he made the right call. He stayed out of it. Now, sure, he had his German sympathies, but he did not want to. He didn't want to, jump the gun, if you will. And so taking Gibraltar wouldn't have really netted him much either, because sure, you get a little bit back and say, hey, I got Gibraltar back, but you've now provoked the British Empire, and then by proxy, America, who would love nothing more than to kick you out.
Where is this guy?
He discovered the winning stride. Tell America you hate the commies too. Yep.
This is a better camp spot than back there. Much easier to defend.
Maybe.
Yes, it is. We're also way down south. I went to Madrid, Toledo, Salamanca, another city, and Barcelona. Cool.
This looks like our fella, Charles.
Quick, cut him free and let's get out of here. You got your knife there?
Take cover! Three coming right at us! What the hell do you think you're doing?
Why the hell you drag us into this, Charles?
Nah, they deserved it.
We got more riding in!
Boom, headshot. They weren't using their noggins anyway. Where is he? I don't see him.
Well, that's done dealt with.
Oh, I guess we already got him.
Let's see what they've left behind for us.
Alright, Kraut, settle down.
It's okay. Getting you out of here.
He liked the German people, not their leader. But yeah, he also had a respect for the British, too. Which also, because I remember there was one guy, Peter Kemp, his name was. He wrote a book about his time, and where he actually fought for the nationalists in the Spanish Civil War. It was called Of Mine There Were Troubles. And so it's an interesting book because he actually meets Franco, and he's like, "Hey man, I'm like happy to have one of you on our side. Really appreciate it." And he's like, "I just really want to go home now," because he had gotten shot and put in the hospital. And he's like, "Yeah, sure, dude. I'll clear you. Make sure you get through." But he also is like, "When you go back to Britain, what are you going to do?" And he's like, "I'm probably going to join the military because I think a war with Germany's brewing." He's like, "Nah, couldn't be." And then a war with Germany brewed. Like I said in Cody's video, Hitler kept asking for Spain for military access just to reach Gibraltar, to the point where Germany kept trying to bribe them for resources. Yep, Franco kept refusing. Because Franco was smart enough to know, no. Also, another thing is, Franco wasn't entirely sold in on fascism. He was kind of quasi. Really, he was more just nationalist than anything else, because he kind of wanted to return to monarchy. Which is why after his death, that was his request, make Spain a monarchy again. There's actually a guy that does a pretty good covering of the Spanish Civil War, Call Me Ezekiel. He has a small series on it. Very good. I also highly recommend you watch his video on the comparison between Homage to Catalonia and Peter Camp's Of Mine Were Troubles. He compares the two perspectives of two Englishmen that fought on opposite sides of the war. Very interesting. What's the best thing said in World War II, and why was it nuts? The best thing said in World War II, and why was it nuts? Oh, you're talking about the Battle of Bastogne, or the Battle of the Bulge with the 101st Airborne. That's definitely up there. I also particularly fond of the Germans going up to the British and telling them, like surrender, and the British sniping back, "Well, we'd love to take you prisoner, but unfortunately we just don't have the resources or room." Gotta love British cheekiness. So that's when the Catholic Church was a huge part of his movement in the Civil War, and if he did try fascism, he would have had to get rid of them, which the Spanish people would absolutely despise him. Yeah, because that was one of his rallying points in the Spanish Civil War. The Catholic Church backed him, and he was almost viewed as a protector of the church, because the Republicans, again, killing priests and nuns is never going to win you any favors, particularly with the peasant class. Welcome back, Atla. What do you think of Cody's video on the only way Germany could have World War II? I think he makes an interesting case. I think, honestly, the problem is with his ideas, like, could Germany have won World War II? Or the Axis won World War II? The issue is, every once in a while, like, what's one particular thing you could do? I don't think you change one particular thing. There's a couple things you have to change about the Axis strategy, and maybe even conditions, to try and convince them to do it. I think your best chance for a German victory is that they don't declare war on the U.S., because FDR can't convince them to do that, and Japan instead commits to attacking the Soviet Union. Because if you have the Soviet Union being attacked by the Japanese on one front and the Germans and their European allies on the other, that paves a much harder position, and Japan could potentially cut off American trade into a lot of American trade and Lend-Lease, which puts them in a much more critical position. And if the Soviet Union falls, then Germany and the other Axis are on more stable footing. The big problem for both sides was they picked a fight with America when they didn't need to pick a fight with America. Yeah, Germany was fighting after Italy. Yep, and Italy also didn't help them out much. Honestly, if Italy had just remained neutral, too, that would have been a huge boon, because that means they're not going to get involved in North Africa, they're not going to get involved in the Balkans with Greece, and so that means they free up a lot of men and material for Operation Barbarossa. That, and with Germany being Germany, how long would they have even lasted after winning? That's a good question, because that's a matter of debate. Because Germany needed this resources, and now they have their living space, and they're going to start committing atrocities. It's kind of the question of, like, how long can fascism last as a stable economy? Like, would they sort of, like, after the fanaticism of Hitler, would they sort of revert back to more of, like, the German imperial system of running things? Would they become a little bit more democratic? Would they dip a little bit more into the socialism aspect? It's one of those questions. How would they function? Some thinks they would have collapsed after a little bit. Some of them think they might have lasted. Of course, there's the guys that think, oh, it was totally perfect in every single way, which, no, I don't buy into that. In fact, I've talked to far too many people that view Nazi Germany with rose-colored glasses because, well, they have certain proclivities, which I'm just like, well, you look at them and then you have to go, they made so many poor choices. Like, even if you just exclude one, even huge ones, they still have other problems that make them basically untenable. Like, the NKVD would never have allowed infiltrators even with how corrupt it was. The NKVD, oh, what a piece of work they were. Alright. If the Nazis weren't Nazis, they could have won. It's literally the only way. Oh, ain't that the truth?
Hey, Arthur. What you want, Micah? Nothing. I'm just being civil, my brother. Well, hello then. You really are a very charming man.
Alright, come here, hug it out. This is why nobody likes you, Micah. Honestly, I do kind of feel bad there, because he's like, hey, just trying to be civil. I kind of wish we had taken that olive branch. I was like, alright. It's like, alright, Mike, I appreciate it. Like, what are your ideas for the Space Wolves Ragnarok? Basically Raven's idea, I think. I think Raven and I share the same idea on that. There's the whole Holocaust thing, which is a poor choice all on its own. I mean, yeah, that's the huge, horrific thing, but the problem is you got a lot of Holocaust deniers running around now, which are incredibly annoying to deal with. But even if you want to ignore, it's like, because they're like, because, you know, there's anti-Semites out there. But it's like, okay, ignore that. What about how they treated the Poles? Like, I've met a lot of, like, I-Catholics, I will call them, that super obsessed with Hitler. And I'm like, you do realize he hated the church, right? He declared war on the Vatican, and the Swiss pikemen had to do a standoff with panzers, which kind of metal, I'm not going to lie, them Swiss pikemen. But watching neo-Nazis and communists argue online is very funny. It's just people screaming, my genocide and ill totalitarianism is better than yours. Ohioan, you've cracked the code. You figured it out. That is essentially what, like, gosh, it's like watching 4chan and Reddit debate. Basically, it's like, well, if I was the genocidal dictator, I would do it right. It's like, yeah, you're all awful. Not you guys in chat. I love you guys. It's just the darker parts of the internet. Honestly, the return of anti-Semitism is so grating. Yeah, it's one of those things. It's just, I don't think you can just take one group of people and blame them for all the world's problems. Nothing is like, it's more of like, I blame evil and corruption. Life is not so simple as to just blame one group of people, particularly just when you look at it from the Christian perspective, is you're called to love all people. Even if people from that group irritate you, you still have to love them. This was one of the things we were talking about yesterday in our small group, was the idea of, hey, you need to, like, even those that hate God, you need to show love for them. And so, if you're supposed to show love for even people that hate God, you have to love the people that even want your destruction. And sometimes that can be a bitter pill to swallow. You have to be reminded, like, hey, all the terrible things you've done, and God's still willing to forgive you, you got to be willing to, you know, be kind to others. It never left, so how can it return? I think it's not so much that it left. I think it's that it's like gaining a revitalization. That's why it's concerning. Because sure, it never truly left, but the idea is it's spiked in recent years, which is concerning. But it's getting late, and I have work tomorrow. So I appreciate you guys hanging out with me, having some discussions and some conversations. I think we had a good stream. And, like, oh yeah, it's like you have some right-wingers claiming Israel somehow controls America, while deliberately the one nation whose name starts with a Q has suspicious amounts of donations and education. Yeah, they always look one way or the other, and they don't. I think they overestimate Israel's capabilities. I honestly think they do. And just, like, hearing all the conspiracy theories, I'm like, what kind of wizardry do you think they have? Regardless. But anyway, that's all that. Anyway, appreciate you guys for sticking with me this long. You guys have a good one, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.